Nitro is the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right. And let's get back to more club racing and less of this racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right.
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about it.
Here we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no!
I like this.
Yes, indeed. Nitro's the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to show number 328 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keenan White, a.k.a. Lefty, the Great Disappointment. We got Max in the middle, and then we got Pekko representing Wheel and Trigger this weekend. What's up, Pekko? Welcome back.
Actually, I had this quite special. You know how I got it?
How's that?
Because I was pitting for Salty Joe, and he bumped up, and he got a hat, and I got a hat also because I was helping him to bump up.
The saltiest of saltiest. Go check out Wheel and Trigger. Brent Dunsford and Chasen Ehrlich doing the good stuff over there. They have some great live shows. I've been on that show a couple of times too. Shout out to Wheel and Trigger podcast and all that they do. Max, you're back. Good to see you. You're not going to fucking talk right now because you've been busy doing all these notes. So you're going to let me do my spiel and then we'll get into the talking part. And Max, when we use safe words, the point of safe words is that you shut up and let us, move on. This is supposed to be a short podcast, not 3 hours.
You know, what can I do? The people love when I speak.
Well, you have a new name now. The King of Estonia.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna talk about that.
Hey,
And
me too.
I am the, no, he's the king, but I am the prestige king. He is just the regular king. That's what the interviewer said, that the Nitro is the prestige class.
Oh, yeah, that's actually true. But I was still 2 seconds faster in a lap. I'm probably more.
Okay, we'll talk about that and more in a bit. But before we do that, I'd like to say thank you to all of the NNRC squad around the world. We can't do it without you guys. Thank you all for the support. Thank you to the patrons and YouTube members of the No Name RC podcast. You guys will get early access. If you like what we're doing here, and if you want to pay for Pekko to get a proper haircut, that you can support us by becoming a member or becoming a patron. It all helps us all out. Max has still not got a haircut, but Pekko definitely needs one because he can't see. That's why he has to wear a hat. But links for that.
I get money.
Huh? You get unicorn money.
No,
You get unicorn money.
that's cool.
If you can, I'll tell you what, if you get some super chats on her, you get all of them. There you go. So if you want to give Pekko a tip, super chat.
Yes.
And also, I wanted to say, our analytics say that many of you that listen to this podcast aren't hitting that sub, like, and notification button. If you're watching this on YouTube, please don't forget, it's free. Hit that sub, like, notification button. If you're listening to this on a audio-only platform, come on over to YouTube and do the same thing. Thank you very much. Also, a big shout out to our sponsors. Without these guys, we can't do this either. We have links for the sponsors in the written description. We have some affiliate links, some coupon codes, and just links where you can find out where they are. Let them know you heard about it on the No Name RC podcast. They are J Concepts, High Tech RC, Sidewinder Fuels, Latera Racing, Invisible Speed, ML Toys, Dollar Hobbies, Side Piece Racing, Get Shit Done Coffee, Elite RC Productions, RC Project, Mayako, Techno RC, Beach RC, Racecraft USA, and Clinic RC. Big shout out to our drivers. David Ronafalk got his mojo back, I think. won 2 world championships. Sorry, 2 European championships in a row. Robert Battier, Alexander Hagberg, Matty G, Pekko Evening, who's been a NNRC podcast driver for quite some time, Una Hotnan, and Mason Fuller. So we are back. The 3, I don't even know what to call us. 3 Stooges. I was going to say 3 Musketeers, but 3 idiots. That's for sure. 3 idiots for sure. Some of us
We
are
are
more
the,
idiotic.
no. We are the 3 wise men. And we're gonna bring JQ, in his birth. When he gets birth in the crib, we're gonna bring him gifts. I read that on a book. I can't remember
when he
which
gets
book.
a kid, we can be the 3 wise men.
Yeah.
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 All right. Well, it sounds good to me. JQ. He's got to have some children then. Hurry up and do that, JQ.
No, but
Alrighty.
wasn't it that he just needs to find some lady that gets pregnant by accident?
See, I'm gonna have to edit this already.
What? We're talking about children book. You don't know this one?
Do you see what I mean? We're definitely gonna have to edit this now.
You haven't
Matt,
read
you
this
always
book?
turn the ass
It's like
out of
really, it's like a really famous one too. You read it at school, right, Pekko?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Leave it to the finish to turn the ass out of it. All right, let's get back on topic here because Max is fucking going off topic already. Catch up. I traveled a bit. We all know about that. I went to Wicked Weekend, so Pekko there. Pekko's been traveling quite a bit. Max, you've been traveling to do some racing. Max, you and I and Pekko will all be in Portugal in a week's time. Well, in a couple of days' time when this releases. But as we're recording in about a week's time, we'll all be in Barcelos, Portugal for the E-Buggy Worlds. I guess we start out with what you've been up to, Max, because now you're the king of Estonia somehow, some way, somewhere.
Yeah, King of Estonia. I actually won a race for a change, which was nice. 3rd time ever driving on like the modern style track, oiled / glued, and a track like that. 1st time ever I actually felt comfortable. So it was fun, and the track venue in Rakvere is that's something else. Like they're gonna hold the E-Buggy Euros next year. That's gonna be a special one. So if you're thinking of going, you should go because it's at this place. Yeah, that was nice. Last weekend, Finnish nationals got rained out. Pekko got lucky. For a little while, it looked like it was gonna rain out after the first qualifier, which I beat Pekko in. But then in the second round, he got a bit better run. So he narrowly beat me. I was 4th. He was 3rd.
Yeah. It was unfortunate. I was doing the TQ round, but it started to rain in the middle of the run, so I couldn't do good time. Yeah, Estonia was nice. I was actually surprised how good Max drove. Like really, it looked nice on the track. Yeah, I was surprised.
What happened to you in Estonia, Pekko?
In Estonia,
yeah,
E-Buggy.
So Max won Nitro, and you
yeah,
won.
I was only driving E-Buggy. My car was actually, I think the car now was the best it has been ever on a high grip track. So I think we are making good progress with the new platform, and I think the worlds can be quite good.
The Euros,
the worlds,
yeah.
Worlds. Oh, well, upcoming world. Sorry.
Yeah.
And for sure the Euros in Estonia.
He ran my saddle conversion.
Yeah, I made the battery mounts. I made it different. Was it exactly yours?
But it was my parts. You just drilled them a bit wider.
Yeah.
So he went against the rules. I have to say,
no, Jake is coming around too. Jake is coming around. After 2 years of trying to convince him, he's coming around.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, great. But we found out that the Pelican body is not better than the normal one.
At least not at this track, okay? I'll give it that much. Because in Finland, I've tested it before. It's been better.
Pelican body?
Pelican?
Yeah,
you don't know?
Yeah, that's the one, the special body I made myself.
Yeah.
They call it the Pelican.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
The Pelican needs to fly away now.
Hey, that facility looks very nice. Is the surface glue oil mixture or what is it?
Oil. It's only oil.
Okay.
Yeah, but the difference is that to tracks like they have in the UK or I guess Australia, the difference is that this is like sand. It's not even like sandy dirt. It's like sand that they put oil in.
Yeah,
So
but
it's very
it was more oily last year, but they put too much oil this year, and now it was a bit different. But yeah,
Nice. It looks like a beautiful facility. I'd love to visit it. Maybe the e-buggy Euros is something that is on the list of races to go to.
then you can have a holiday in Finland after that.
Yeah, it's right next to
Yeah,
us.
maybe it would be good. Then I could go see some reindeer.
Yeah.
Well, that's I think the thing is that when you go to Estonia, you're 60 kilometers away from Finland, but Germany is closer than reindeer is, you know? when
No, I don't
when
think
you
that.
think about
It's like
well,
600
yes.
kilometers. It's 600
No,
kilometers.
600
Yeah.
is like middle of Finland.
No, it's not.
You know what?
Like
Enough
10 hours drive.
Enough geography. We'll figure it out. Hopefully we can go there. It's a beautiful facility. Congratulations to the King of Estonia. Now we lost all our viewers because we have to call you King.
The Kings. Kings
All
of
right.
Estonia.
Let's get into some RC news because let's get into some RC news because we're trying to get through this pretty fast. And RC news is brought to you by Hi-Tech. Looking for top tier performance and reliability in your RC setup? Hi-Tech RCD has you covered with industry leading chargers and servos for both surface and air applications. Whether you're bashing, racing, or taking to the skies, Hi-Tech's advanced technology delivers precision, power, and durability when you need it most. From high torque servos to smart, efficient charging solutions, trust Hi-Tech to keep you in control. Hi-Tech, powering passion, elevating performance. Visit hightechrcd.com today. Let them know Lefty sent you, and two-time European champion at this moment as well. So congratulations to them. I guess we'll start off with a big congratulations to Elliott Boots. Elliott Boots makes it 9 times UK champion. They had the last round this past weekend at Slough in the UK. So pretty impressive for Boots. It was 5 rounds of the national series, and he won every round and TQ'd every round. So I would say complete and utter domination by Elliott Boots. Oh, look at that. I got messages popping up on my Facebook. But yeah, well done to Elliott Boots. What do you think about that? I mean, he's proven to be the number 1 UK 1/8 scale driver for many, many years. Going back over to his home country, that's absolute domination. There was a time where the Skidmores were beating him at some of these races, but I think he came over and said, all right, I'll just show you guys who's boss. And he did.
It was that year, I think, Skidmore ran Mugen. I'm pretty sure he didn't win with X-Ray. I could be wrong, Skidmore. I think he won the national championship with Mugen then. But I could be wrong. I should check that. But either way, that was sort of around COVID, a bit after COVID. That was the time where Skidmore was really, really good in the UK. Like actually faster than Elliott. So that was a really good time for him. Since then, it's been Elliott. I mean, I think Skidmore and every other of these UK guys have kind of held their level, but I think Elliott went to another level altogether. Because even at that time, it was like Craig and Martin at a good day could beat Boots or Skidmore, but now it's kind of like nobody can beat Boots. So yeah, I think just Boots has just stepped up, which we have noticed in international events though too. So
thoughts on that, Pekko, before we move on?
That's cool.
Yeah. So here is the scoring from that race. It was actually Elliott Boots. Did I cut you off? I'm sorry.
No.
Go ahead.
No, Pekko just said it was good.
Yeah.
That's what I expected from Pekko. It's okay. Elliott Boots, Lee Martin in second, Billy Grinley. Well done to young Billy Grinley. And then Skidmore in fourth. Was not a good weekend for Skidmore. And as you can see, his father took to the interwebs to talk about it in certain ways, in typical Skidmore fashion. But
oh yeah, I saw they posted about the track was rough. But I've
Yeah.
been wondering that was it only for them that the track was rough? Like, did they drive on a different track than the other people? Because I
Well,
was confused about it.
well, from what I hear is that they also have they can't water the track because of, believe it or not, England's suffering from a freaking drought, apparently. Believe it or not, England.
You know? Yeah,
Shouldn't have mentioned this. We're not
That-
going on an
that's-
environmental spiel here. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
There-
Nope. Nope.
There's a good reason for that, dude. I'm not going to
Stop it
say
right
it, but we all
now.
know what the reason
Stop it
is.
right now. Stop it right now.
Yeah.
We want to keep the last few bit of viewers that we have before they get triggered by your environmental spiel. All right.
The truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But let's go on.
This happened a few weeks ago, but Canadian nationals Douglas Schufelt won all 3 classes. Well done. Not a very big attended race, unfortunately. Some Americans made the trip up there to hopefully get a place in the USA, get a place in Raw for the championships. They thought they were going to have 10 spots, but it ended up being 6. So there was some kerfuffle there. Congratulations, actually.
Wait. Spots to Worlds?
Okay, so as we know, Canada is a different country, correct?
Yeah,
Canada is a different country. Yes, but it's no different. They have their own association. So it's no different from any other. So it's just like EFRA that has many countries within its block.
What if you make top 40 at the Roar Nats? Do you get a spot? Because isn't it a thing that Roar Nats this year qualifies you for next year?
Yes, but the Canadian Nationals also qualifies the Canadians. They were allotted.
So if you are a Canadian, make it to the top 40, can you forfeit your Canadian national spot? Or do you get double spot? How does it work?
I don't know how that works.
But it would be.
Excuse me?
You can race twice.
Yeah.
There you go. You can race two
You can
cars.
race for America and for Canada.
I'm sure Canadians want to race for Canada, but they have their own. I'm not sure. Can I explain?
You race for 2 qualifiers.
Can I explain?
One qualifier race for America, and the next qualifier race for Canada.
Well, wouldn't that cause some shit?
Well,
that was Ty was doing every time. He was at
No, he was not.
Yeah.
Every time he was at the US.
It was Ty Tessman, and then the American was Kai Kessman.
Shut up.
You didn't know him?
Shut up.
You never heard about this?
This because it's not true.
That's why he was so good at all the worlds, because he could race twice.
Well, there goes all our Canadian listeners. Thanks, Max. Thanks, King of pissing everybody off. That's your real name, King of
Park. Have you ever watched South Park? The Canadians look totally different.
Can I talk about Schufelt, please? Can I explain the situation? Go. So apparently, from what I can understand, they were a primarily they were awarded 10 spots, but then it was cut down to 6. So there were some Americans that were making the trip up there, hoping to make the A final. Basically, all the A final would have spots into the Worlds. But then when they got up there, they were like, "Oh shit, it's only 6 spots." So yeah, that kind of backfired. It's kind of like what Gene Hickerson done back in I would say the early 2000s, maybe late 90s. He didn't make the cut at the Royal Nationals, so he went on to Brazil and competed and became the Brazilian national champion in order to get a spot into the World Championships that year or the next year, the following year. So sounds like some people tried to do that. Schufelt, though, I do want to talk about him. He's a very good racer. Very good racer. He is probably the best racer coming out of Canada right now. We got to see him at Wicked Weekend. He was very fast. He needs to race more big races, though. He does a lot of races up in the Northeast and stuff like that. I understand that, but he needs to get to more races. He's a very, very good racer. Very good. Very impressed by him. I was impressed by him quite a lot at Wicked Weekend. And I know he's been there before all the Canadians got mad at me. So, good stuff. Anything to add about that before we move on?
Not really. Was there any American who made it through?
I don't think so. I'm not sure. Somebody will correct me.
Maybe they can go to Mexico next,
Well, I don't know how many spots Mexico gets.
Well,
probably a couple because there was Mexicans in Redolin.
There was a lot of Mexicans at Redolin.
Yeah, exactly. Usually it goes like from that. Like how
The
big
next
there
wonder-
was
is a life
before.
party
Like,
at the Worlds.
yeah.
Yeah. Wonder if they'll let him into Texas next year.
I don't get that. But anyway,
Okay, let's move on.
when it comes to, remember, I don't follow what goes on in the real world. Sorry. So it goes completely over my head. Let's go to the Caleb wins. So we had the Australian Nationals this past weekend, and it was on a very Australian style track. It was an oiled mixed type of track. It was at Bateman's. It had every top Australian there, but you know who wasn't there? The only guy that's won it like 20 times. Kyle McBride was not at the Nationals.
Isn't he like done?
I think he retired now.
Because didn't he race the
retired.
ABC and then he kind of didn't do well? I think like I assume that he was just like,
Yeah, I think he
I
was
don't have it in me.
in New Zealand. And then he was going to the ABC in Australia, but he just didn't go.
He didn't show up?
No.
Oh,
No.
well.
And then people said that he just retired now.
I guess it's
That's
over
like
for
the
McBride.
fifth. You know, I think it's the fifth time the charm for the retirement. That now it's gonna maybe stick for once. But I think it like he tried to come back like 4 to 5 times. But I don't think it's been working out. And these new guys are like actually really fast, so it's gonna be even tougher every year that goes by.
Well, it was unfortunately the final was cut short at just under 15 minutes because of rain. Caleb Noble takes the win, followed by Kristen Wallhunter. And I don't know. Let me see who this next guy is. I don't know who he is. Maybe you guys can bring up scoring. I'm sorry. Is that that's not Bernard Zek? Nope, that's not him. That's some other associated driver. Come on, Pekko, be on top of it.
I thought you said that's some other Australian. Like that's the Australian nuts.
But congratulations to Caleb Noble taking the win, and it was pretty scrappy. I watched the semi-even this morning, and Bernard Zek flamed out, and he had a scrap back, and it was a good scrap between him and Felix, the cat running in Mayako. And I think Jaden Edmonds had to start a lap on. I don't know what happened in that situation. You heard anything, Pekko?
I'm not sure. I didn't ask what happened.
Okay. But congratulations. Unfortunately, another rain affected race because that's what happened to you at the ABC.
Yeah.
But it looked like a decent track. The Australians have that track. Like, remember how we talked about each kind of region has their certain type of tracks? And there's like Australia has a certain type of track. Like they don't have no really massive jumps. They don't really have that much elevation changes in their tracks, but they have very nice tracks in a different way. Like you look at Perth, you look at the ABC track, you look at this track, and they really are embracing the oil tracks in Australia as well. Pekko, you've been to the ABC track. Do you understand what I'm trying to say about it, about their tracks?
Yeah, I know what I try to get it what you say, and I think you're
Yeah,
right. They are like unique style, and like this track where they had the nationals, it was super sleek. I think it was oiled or glued, something like that, but it was
Oiled.
super sleek, so it was super slippery also. Like that was Jaden was saying to me when he was asking for a setup advice or something like that. He said it's super slick, so it was a bit slippery.
Yeah, I'll bring up a video of the tracker so we can see exactly what it is, and you'll see what I mean. Like they just have a certain Jared Ment. Okay, that's who it was.
That's the guy.
He actually.
Wait. So, Felix Kogler, does he still ride Mayako?
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was 4th.
Yeah.
He's French, but he races in Australia. I think he lives.
Yeah, he lives in Australia.
Yeah, but here's a quick video of the track.
He's not
courtesy of
French.
Yeah, courtesy of RC Race Media, who do excellent coverage.
Yeah, they do.
So, very unique track. Ooh,
it is.
This is their LCQ. But you see what I'm saying? There aren't no really big, crazy jumps. I love that they have. I love that stuff. That looks cool. I love concrete curbing. You can see the oil type of tracks.
The boomerang in the middle is cool.
Yeah, that's what they called it, the boomerang. This is like the biggest jump section right here. This triple.
Yeah.
But this is when I think Australian tracks, this is exactly what I think of it as type of an Australian track.
They are
They
like
even have
very busy tracks. Like they are not huge in terms of space, but they kind of max out the space they have on the
Yeah, they
track. That
do.
was the
Yeah, it's
same.
not like it
They,
doesn't have that many round corners. It's like 180 or like the end of the straightaway. It's not a like you need to really slow down to make the corner. It's not that
yeah,
flowing, I would say.
yeah. It was the same at the Worlds in 2018. I remember,
And also
like,
in ABC.
yeah, like
This is the only
they,
fast corner basically. The end of
yeah,
like the
yeah.
front
Every
straight.
other corner is like
Yeah.
180 or 90, and if
Yeah,
you
like
look at
this
the
corner,
infield, there's like
this one
there's no
also. Yeah.
infield.
No.
So that's one, I think, reason why the tracks have a specific style, because they have a goal to maximize the length of the track with the area they have, and then it kind of creates tracks like this.
Well, congratulations to Caleb Noble. He is the his first Australian nationals. Good job to him. Brock sweeps the carpet nationals this weekend. Not surprised here. Let's bring up a few of the results. So they did have carpet net. We are going to talk about the carpet net. So should we save the whole spiel about the 21-5? I think we should save it to the end, or do we want to get into that now and talk
Let's
about
talk
it?
about it now.
Okay, so let's just go over some of the results. So Brock actually took the win in four-wheel drive, followed by Rinderneck. That's his home track. Brennan Schimmel, Davey Bada, Spencer Rivkin. For Spencer Rivkin, who's been focused on 10 scale only, he is not having a very good 10 scale year, in my opinion. Aiden Horn, Dakotah Fend,
He's saving his lines for the Worlds.
probably. Chase Lemieux, Ryan Cavallari, and shout out to Hot Pockets, Ryan Rivas. He made both mod finals. Fend, very medium down in seventh. Fend also did not make the final in two-wheel drive. So not good, not a good weekend for Fend. Brock Champlin, once again in first, followed by Rinderneck. So that's two Schumachers, Chase Lemieux, Davey Bada, Rivkin in fifth, Schimmel, Ryan Rivas in seventh, Aiden Horn, Cavallari, and Brandon Foote. Fend BQ 11th overall. This is even more why we should. No last chance, no bumps. This sucks, right? We need to have that. We need to change this in EFRA and in ROAR, I would say.
Yeah. So who was the best X-ray?
Chase Lemieux in four-wheel drive.
What about in two-wheel drive?
And
where did Chase finish?
Sorry, Chase Lemieux in four-wheel and two-wheel drive. Brennan Schimmel in four-wheel drive in third, and Chase Lemieux third. So the streak for X-ray is over. They did, but they didn't win. So their streak is over.
Well, how did Fend manage to be so? I guess he.
I think he broke. I think he broke something.
Yeah.
I think he broke something.
The track was quite unique.
Well, let's bring it up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, okay, I gotta say this. I think the big issue for a lot of these Americans is like they don't have time to test. You know, like they race 8 scale and 10 scale. They have dirt and carpet nats. And then they have all these other big races. So, yeah, I mean, and then for Fend, he's going to the E-Buggy Worlds in like 1 week after this race. So, like, no way you're testing for this race. You're testing for the E-Buggy Worlds.
Yeah.
So I do understand it, but it's still crazy considering like how far down the field you can be if you have like a little bit of an off weekend.
To be fair, the INS race, round number 3, was here a couple of months ago, and he was not that good here either.
So, he was at this track?
Mm-hmm.
For the INS? Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
this is like, because the track doesn't have that many fast corners. It's just like chicanes, 180s, walls.
Yeah, this is like a really, a Champlin style track, I think.
Yeah.
Every time he posts a video, every time he posts a video when he practices, the tracks look like this.
Yeah.
It's very different from some like Beachline where you actually have like some drivable corners.
Yeah,
it's really flowing. But here it's
and it was like way
kind of
faster than the others. It was really smashing it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so he decided. I thought like, where is he? But he didn't race this one. He had already won. Who's in second?
Schimmel.
Oh, Schimmel. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's very busy. I think this is like the OG EOS tracks used to be like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
But like those were really difficult to drive on because it's like way too busy.
Yeah.
Especially with the modern power you have, like it's insane. It's kind of like driving a pan car almost.
Yeah.
Okay. That's Island Speedway in Muscatine, Iowa. It's also a collectible shop too. Pretty cool. I didn't get to go to it. Let's just go through some of the other results real quick, and then we will get back to it. We'll get back to some of the drama that was caused at this race, and I'll try to explain it as best as I can. Because you know what? We got accused of only caring about the drama, right? Well, we never people have to understand reporting the drama and actually making drama are two different things. Jovi 11 took the win in 17.5 two-wheel drive. He's a very good carpet racer. Dustin Fox, Aaron Mitchell, he's a local. Dominic Passioni in that R1 car in two-wheel drive. First time racing on carpet for him, apparently. Talon Henley, Jake Riggs, McCoy Martin, well done to him. Nate Sutherland will not be happy with this. Kaylis Lowe and Antonio Caputo. So congratulations to them. I have to mention them because I am a fan of the spec mod or stock class, as it's called. And then we shall go to, 13.5. Dustin Fox, the X-Ray driver, takes the win in that, followed by Jovi 11. Nate Sutherland and new Schumacher. McCoy Martin, he's in Schumacher too. The good job, McCoy. He's a young racer from Florida. Very nice young man. Very young too. Dominic Passioni, Talon Henley, Jake Biggs, Kyle Holmberg, Aaron Mitchell, and Brady Carrico. I think Mitchell would be a little bit upset about this because this is his home track, and I know he expects to do well there. But I saw all these guys race about 2 weeks ago at Hobbyplex too, besides Passioni, so it's good. These guys are fast. Nate Sutherland's fast too. He would want a better result than that. So we should get into some of the drama about this race. I'm not going to try to beat a dead horse on this. So first we have the drama of Jeff Stakowitz, who's a friend of mine. I call him Dale Earnhardt of RC. And I understand why he's upset, but he doesn't really have a foot to stand on of being upset. But basically he was upset because he didn't marshal and he got docked a lap, so he was out of the A final. Now, that's just plain rules. If you don't marshal, that's the rule. You get docked a lap and that's it, right? And I understand that he's been there since Tuesday and he was frustrated and that started a whole bunch of kerfuffle. He says there's no consistency. He feels that he was singled out because he's very outspoken about things. And I get why he feels like that. But at the end of the day, you didn't turn marshal. The punishment is for that, right? He also said that he had a 17.5 motor that failed tech at the Dart Nationals, but passed tech this past race. And he was complaining about that, the consistency. There was no incubator there. Apparently they use an incubator to put the motors in there and keep them at a certain temperature and stuff like that. So that's a legitimate gripe as well. And then he might be banned from Raw for a year because he's very outspoken at the TQ Awards and online. And I talked to Clayton as well this morning before coming on her about a lot of this stuff because I wanted to get his side of the story. I also saw the conversation between Stax and him. Stax has lots of points. His point was, hey, they don't dock the pros. They don't do this. There's lots of guys that missed Martian. Why single me out? He said, I was mad at that. He also makes good points. He thinks that the race is too long. It was only 144 entries. Everybody was there Tuesday. This race could have been done in 3 days, right? I actually feel that there should be just one nationals now because it's just too long of a race. So that could have been done. I get it. I get why he was mad. But at the end of the day, Stax, you're my boy. I love you. Dale Earnhardt of RC, but you missed your marshalling spot. As for that's just how it goes. And that's how it should be for anybody. I think that they should establish that rule right off the bat at the race, right? Oh, you missed your spot marshalling? Fuck, dock a lap. You do that right off the bat, then this doesn't happen, right?
Exactly. And actually, we both know, me and Max, what happens when you don't marshal. Max knows what happens in Nitro. I know what happens in Tensco. And it's even more harsh in EFRA than Raw.
Really? What are the
rules? One lap, not that bad.
Yeah,
I
in
mean,
EFRA, it's that if you don't marshal in Nitro, you cannot run your main.
Oh,
You don't
wow.
even have a chance because you marshal before your main. So if you don't marshal, you cannot run unless you're Italian or Spanish. Then Carlos will give you a pass.
yeah.
So
This
you feel
actually
what
happened.
Stax does.
Yeah.
You
No,
understand Stax's pain.
No, but I understand his pain because this happened in EFRA as well.
I remember when it happened to you.
In 2016, that was the first year. I can't remember. I was 15 then, so that was the first year that I remember we had to marshal before our race. Before that, it used to always be that every country had a spot and someone had to be there. For that year, it switched that you had to marshal before your race. So obviously, I was running like somewhere in the morning. We arrived to the track, and the speakers were not on in our side of the track, on our side of the pits. So they was calling me to go marshal, but because the speakers were not on, I couldn't hear it. And the team manager, I think he had misunderstood the marshalling procedure. Because he'd only told us about the marshalling for the junior main and stuff. I said I'd go marshal the junior main or the oldies main, whichever it was. Can't remember exactly. So anyway, the race starts that I supposed to be marshal. They run it. I don't marshal, and then I think it was either Carlos or the other Spanish guy, Pineda, that came to say, "Hey, you can't run." And I was like, "What? Like, why?" And then they said that you had to be marshalling. I was like, I didn't know that. And they said they were calling me. And I was like, well, the speaker's not on. I cannot hear it here at the end of the pits. And then they was like, well, you're 15, but the rules are rules. We have to follow them. And then JQ came and talked with them, and it was a whole kerfuffle. And yeah, apparently at the same race, someone else did the same thing, but they got to run their main. I don't know if that was for sure, but I'm pretty sure they got to run their main. But then, because that was me, I think, and JQ, then um, I couldn't run my bump up. I went to the driver's stand, I ran the warm up and everything, and Pineda was standing in the pits in front of my dad, looking that he wouldn't go and put the car to the grid, and then someone else was in the driver's stand. You know me, I'm fucking what 3 foot high and having my little fucking stool there, and some old ass fucking Spanish guy was like, you cannot race there. Okay, fast forward a year. Semi-finalists are supposed to marshal the first race on Saturday morning. Okay, so I think that was like 1/16 or something. Semi-finalists were supposed to marshal that. Barufalo, Ongaro, and Berton, none of them marshaled it. And then we was like, well, sweet. This makes it, because then I was in the quarters. So that would mean that I would be bumping up to the semis, or at least closer to the semis, if they got disqualified. Well, we went to Carlos, like, okay, it's a clear cut. They cannot run, right? No, 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 no. It's a difficult situation. It's a difficult situation. That's what he said, word for word. And then it's like, well, what the fuck? They did a marshal. The rules are clear. We follow them. And they was like, well, yes, but they're Italian, so they don't speak English that well. So they didn't understand. The team manager doesn't know English, so he didn't understand what they were saying. So then we argued with Carlos for like an hour. Like, what the fuck? Like, last year I couldn't run. Now there's 3 Italians that did the same thing I did, and they're not getting anything. And he was like, yes, 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 but it's a difficult situation. And in the end, they got nothing. They got like a warning or whatever, which is nothing. And yeah, that's what happened with me and EFRA. And the thing is that had they given the penalty to, it was at least Barufolo and Berton. I can't remember if it was Ongaro too, but I think it was all the Italians in the semis that didn't marshal. and they got nothing. Had they given them a penalty, I would have been like, dang, like, I guess I deserved it at 15 years old in Spain that year. But they didn't. And since then, I've kind of been like, my mentality is that if you don't marshal once, you get a warning. And from the second one, you get the penalty. Because then, if you know that you haven't marshaled once and you've gotten a warning, then it's 100% on you. Then you should be asking, should I be the marshalling every time? So I think the ruling should be that if you don't marshal, it's a warning. And from the second one, even if you're late, you get the disqualification. That's my mentality of it. But yeah, I still think that if you don't marshal, there should be a penalty. But the issue with it is that if it was Dakotah Fend or Ryan Mayfield who did that, no penalty at all.
Well, that's Stax's point.
Yeah,
That's
and I think, granted, if there was a case that it was Stax and Fend, for example, then like that's fair play. They're upholding the rules. But because I've seen it with my own eyes that the rules are not the same for everyone. That's why I
Pekko.
think that he does have a point, but it's still his fault. But I think he does have a point.
Oh, I agree with you. Pekko, tell us your story. I've never heard this one.
Oh yeah, it was last year in Sweden. That was actually the first time I forgot to marshal in a big race, and I didn't remember because usually the A main is the last race, and usually last race marshals the first race. But because A main has international marshals in 10 scale and also 8 scale. It's like they pick marshals from every country and they go marshal. So actually, B main has to marshal the first race, like the first, I don't know, the lowest man there is. And I totally forgot. And I think we went to a grocery store or something because there was like a huge gap between, because it was like we only ran like one final. So then when I came back, I heard that, oh, you were not marshalling. And I was like, oh, okay. Then I ran my B main. I think I came second or something. It was quite good race, actually. Then I go check the results. I lost my whole run. They just disqualified me for the run. So, I mean, that's the punishment you get when you're not marshalling. Totally my fault.
Okay. I'm not disputing that. But this led to a whole bunch of kerfuffle online, threats of him being banned, all of this type of stuff. I don't know how to deal with that. I get it. You're frustrated. I honestly feel that they need to go back to just one nationals. Like have a dirt one year, have it on carpet the next year, whatever, if they can, because it's just getting too expensive for people to go to both, especially this is a race that could have been done in 3 days easily, right? But it's a long time to take off of work. But let's get into the real kerfuffle, which is Max.
Can I
Go
say
ahead.
one point before we go into the kerfuffle?
Go ahead.
Let me give some advice. I haven't experienced this myself, but I've seen it from the sidelines so many times. As soon as you start giving out bans for saying things, not in a hurtful way, not using slurs, just saying that you are unhappy with things and you give bans to people, that's when you start flushing everything down the drain. Like, it doesn't matter what the fuck thing you're doing, if you're working a supermarket or whatever, but you start giving penalties to people to speaking their minds, that's when shit starts to go down and nobody respects you anymore. And that's how you end up in a guillotine. That happened in France in, I think it's 1700s, 1800s. No, but figuratively speaking, obviously. But like, if you are anyone from Roar and you give someone a ban for saying that their race sucks, you have to go find a mirror and think like, are we racing toy cars, or am I a narcissist, or do I have a very weak ego? It's one of those, like, it's like, it's so dumb, and it's only weak men who do this. I've never seen anyone else do this in my life. So, yeah,
So
shame on you guys.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure that there were some not so cool. I'm pretty sure Stacks isn't the type of guy that holds his words. So maybe there was some.
Okay, if he called, who
stuff.
did he just? He spoke with Clayton. If he called Clayton a fat bearded shorty, I would be like, okay, I think that's a bit across the line, and you get a warning. If he went further than that, I think a ban could be in the talks. But if he didn't call Clayton something like that, I think it's all fair game.
I'm not big on banning people for speaking their mind, especially when they're upset. I get it. Things are said when you're upset that you shouldn't probably say, and you look back on it. Anyway, I kind of want to move away from that because all of that, I get it. That's part of the drama.
Let's go.
That's not my focus on that. Let's go to the real issue that happened, which was in 21.5. And yes, Max made a post. Why is there a 21.5 class? Well, it's probably these stuff.
That was my joke because everyone was being crazy about it.
All right,
but that's a real question.
Well, I explained it to you, but that's not the debate right now. We're not. That's a debate for another day. That's not the debate right now. So what happened was that what I've come down to it, and I've talked to. I did talk. Like I said, I did talk to Clayton this morning and found out what happened, and I talked to some RDs to find out what they thought would happen. So it sounds like this was all the race director's fault. So he didn't, apparently, from what I can tell, the minimum time was not set. So what happens was when people were coming, like say the back ender guys were coming across the loop, they were getting a 2-second lap, right? So you have to set the minimum time that you can. So basically, when they come across the start finish line, that doesn't matter. You already got somebody that's tripping the start finish line, and then and that they have to set a second or alternative minimum lap on the computer.
Yeah, instead of the first lap being longer for the people that are behind the loop, they got one extra lap that was like 2 seconds.
Pretty much. And apparently, from what I can tell and from what I gather from my conversation is that he was manually giving these people a lap. But there's an actual, from what I talked to another RD, if you know the program good enough, the software, there's actually something where you can have a delay and the computer will fix all of that and work it all out if you know what you're doing. So unfortunately...
it's basically just pressing one button on the software. It's not even like you have to know anything.
I'm not going to claim to know everything about the live timing of, I don't know all of that there. But I would think that the person that's involved in this and doing this on a national level should be. And this isn't a bury or beat roared on or anything like that. So what happened was that the guy, Russ Johnson, who was officially declared the champion in A3, he thought he just had to finish at a certain pace to win it or finish second at the most. He could have, obviously first or second. Instead of him pushing to go for first, which he would have had to do by the tiebreaker. So in the end, they awarded the race to Russ Johnson, but really, by the tiebreaker, it was the young man, Skylar Mandela, who should have won it, right? Because he had a faster overall one race time because they now use the IFMAR tiebreaker rule. So remember, we had the same type of kerfuffle a couple years ago with Kyle Go and Doug Leverrier. So they did change the rule earlier this year where they follow the IFMAR style, where they use the your fastest A final to be or fastest win, because they both had wins, right? But it's just bad, right? I'm going to give Raw some flowers for the fact that they fixed it. Sorry, they didn't fix it. They earned up to the mistake, they accepted the mistake, and then they made both of them co-champions, right? Is that the best answer for everything? No, the best answer would be having somebody there that knows what they're doing, right? And able to fix that up.
You're not bashing Roar here. You just
no, because it's not on Roar. It's not on all of. This isn't Clayton's fault. It was the RD of the RMT who is now since retired. He has resigned.
Really?
Yeah, he resigned from his position. But it comes down to just, in my opinion, not having people in place that do big enough races to catch on this type catch to this type of stuff. Now, this gentleman who did the RD, he does a lot of racing, but you know what? He does a lot of RD racing on-road racing, and we all know that the numbers aren't that big. So it just comes from experience. Like I don't think they do it enough to catch on to this type of stuff. So I don't like that roar. I don't like that roar also turned off the comments on the post they made about it. You just got to take that fire. You got to take that heat.
No, I think you can turn off the comments because knowing what the Americans think of roar, like, and it's just like you don't need that. Like they made a mistake, they owned up to it. What can you do at this point? And the
you
thing
have to
is,
let people voice their opinions.
Well, you can fucking yell at the wall. What is it gonna change?
It's not gonna change anything. It's a sad situation for both drivers at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think Roar handled the situation as well as it could have handled afterwards.
Yes.
I don't think you could do better after the fact. The issue is that it happened, and I think judging from how it went, I think it was like an honest mistake. I don't think it was like incompetence. I think they knew what they were doing, but when they went through the results, they was like just looking at the laps and they didn't realize that something had switched, you know? Sure, should you realize that? Yes, but how did not the racers realize it? I would at least realize that, hey, how can I have a better average lap but still have a 1 lap less? You know? Like like if I was
I don't
a
know
racer,
what the situation.
yeah,
I don't
like
know the whole situation.
I think if you are a racer and don't notice stuff like that, like what the hell? So I think like it's like as much as I would blame the RDA for not having the right settings, I would blame all the guys there who are like, oh well, this is the result without actually looking at the result. It's like how could you have almost the same time in 3 different mains, but then one of them is lap less? Like how would you just how?
Yeah.
Like I know specifically how many laps I run
because they were adding the laps back manually. The RD was.
Yeah, but you can still check the results after.
Yeah, you can see the results and you see, hey, how do I have 1 lap less in A1?
Yeah, exactly.
But I think they it's a bad situation. It shouldn't be even happening at this level.
I think as much as it's to blame on Roar, I think it's to blame the racers in general that they don't really race where there is rules. Like they go to this race and they run around a track and then they get their plaque afterwards. Like they don't really know how anything works. They don't know how tie breaks work. If this happened at an EFRA race, there'd be fucking people lining up down the front straight yelling like, "Why is the tie break wrong?"
Be straight after the race.
Yeah, but they took like 2 days after the race, and someone was like, "Hey,
it did not take 2 days.
Well, almost.
No, it happened that same day.
Also, like during the 8 scale long mains, if someone misses a lap, it will be corrected in a couple laps. There will be someone to yell at. That
they do the same thing. A good RD picks up on that stuff.
And in Europe, it doesn't have to be the timing guy. It's like some guy can just yell at him.
Because you guys bring up a good point though. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. It's a big difference, right, between what you guys race in on a weekly basis compared to what the Americans race in. Let's be honest. There are races that have rules and whatnot like that, but not your average club race and stuff like that. Basic rules in the USA, and I would say maybe you guys are similar in Europe as well. You have a cultural difference where you have functioning federations that do things. You came up, both of you are products of coming up in a fully functioning federation, right? Yes, you have a Finnish federation. You may not agree with everything that, listen, I'm just trying to tell you that that's it. You guys don't know any different because that's what you came up in, right? You've been racing for years. Both of you have been racing for many years. You came up with rules, regulations, all that type of stuff. And still things go wrong, right? The difference is that like you said, Max, the Americans just don't race enough at this level with these rules or regulations where they're used to it. And you always run into and that goes for Roar too, because they're not doing enough races at this level where they can pick up on these things as well. So it's a cultural RC cultural thing. It's something similar to what I said on one of my INS podcasts. That's why it's easy for you guys in Europe to follow a point series, because you all have a national series to an extent that qualifies you for Europe for a Worlds. Whereas in the USA, there are no real national series. There's one, it's called the INS, right? But you're in a culture where points don't matter. It's about that one win, right? So I would say it's a cultural thing in RC where you don't come up with the rules. You just don't know. You just listen to what the RD says because that's what you're used to. But actually, what started this was actually somebody contacted the young man Skyler and said, "I think you won this." And they went through the rules, and that's how they found out. They went through the scoring, and that's how they found out. And then he approached Roar about it the same day, and then Roar actually fixed it on the same day, mind you, afterwards. So is it a fuck up by Roar? Absolutely. Is it many steps back? Absolutely. Like, they already are tainted in the eyes of Offroad. But this is just, I don't have to bash Roar. They did enough. I'm just trying to explain how it happened. I get it. Mistakes happen. But you know what? You have to get somebody in there that can pick up on that type of stuff. And I think as a collective, they don't do enough races to pick up on this type of stuff and fix it on the fly. That's my thoughts on it. Yes, I understand what you mean about the people should pick up on it too. But you can't blame people that don't really get to race at that type of level that much and have to worry about it.
One thing I find weird, or have found weird forever, about Roar is every year the nationals have a different format. Like, they have 7-minute qualifiers this year, 10-minute qualifiers next year. Like, sure, they have always the semi and the final, but like, they've been flip-flopping between 5-minute qualifiers and 7-minute qualifiers and 10-minute qualifiers at Roar Nationals since I remember. And with that, like, tie breaks have always been an issue at Roar. Like, they don't know the concept of like best run, best time. That's it. They've had these combined runs and whatnot. And when you change stuff all the time, nobody gets used to what it's supposed to be. Like, you find something that's good and it works. And because this format isn't new, it's been run since the 80s, so people know how it works. The last few years, I think they've gone the right direction. They've chosen IFMA for all their races. But the thing is, just the people haven't caught up yet. It takes a while.
Because it doesn't mean nothing to nobody. Roar is insignificant to the off-road community aside from these two races. There are 8-scale nationals and the 10-scale nationals. They don't need it, right? Off-road doesn't. We need it. Yes, obviously we need a federation, right? But there's no. Whereas you look, for instance, I'll use an example. Remember when we made you made the mistake about the voltage?
Yeah.
And then we was corrected by many different people, because the European culture is to go to the rule books because it's always been there. When we're dealing with a culture, you go to a race, there are no rules, really. There are no rules. They're just vague rules where you go, and that's it. So you got to understand, there's people that have gotten into RC and started racing with this. There's very few people that still exist. That exist back in the day when Roar was actually a factor and meant something. So
yeah,
it's just people don't know. So
but
really,
I do still think, like, if you ask any top racer, I still think the like biggest race of the year for them is 8-scale nationals. For most Americans, I think it's like Worlds, 8-scale nationals, then like DNC. I think that's the order. Some people may say DNC because they do better at DNC or whatever, but I still think, like, people would like to say more that they are a national champion rather than say, I won Pro Nitro Buggy at the Dirt Nitro Challenge. Like, a national champion is a title, and I think like having that is enough for at least the people in 8-scale. I think 10-scale, it's been a bit different. I think 10-scale, like, there really isn't races like that anymore. The Reader race probably used to be like the big race, but it doesn't exist anymore. So basically now it's just Worlds, and I don't think even the Nationals mean that much to a lot of these guys anymore. Probably the most out of all the races because they don't have big races, but 10 scale has always been a lot more like uncentered. 8 scales be kind of been the class for a lot of these guys.
Well, and then I would say that 10 scale in Europe is at a different stage, right? It's not as, I think that 10 scale in America is bigger than what it is in Europe.
It is, but I think it's the same that in Europe, at least the 10 scale Euros are like everybody goes, you know? But in America, it's like the best 10 scale racer in America finishes in the B main. Like, imagine if like the best racer, who would it be?
Somebody's got to be in the B main. Not everybody can make it.
Yeah, but like, would you say that Fend put all of his talent and preparation in line for this event, and he is PQ in dual drive? No,
I can't comment on that. I would say that maybe having a newborn is part of the reason why he hasn't been able to put time and effort into certain things.
It could
and
be.
a very stretched out, I would say that these American racers are racing different classes way more than what you are in Europe because there's way more races. Yeah. There's way more 10 scale races in America. There's way more 8 scale races. So they're busy 3 weekends of the year. 3 weekends of the month. And I'm just saying it's a hard thing to prep for one. It's a hard thing to go through a discipline. Whereas Ronafalk won the Euros, right? Has a couple of months off. Or a month or so to get off. He can get into gear for 10 scale, go down there and practice. In America, you don't have that luxury. It's like, hey, I won the Nationals. Fend. I got to go to Wicked Weekend. I got to go to this race. I got to go to that race. It's hard to get out and test for that, and that's just because of such a busy schedule, in my opinion. But I think the Nationals are still a very prestigious race for American. It just feels like 8 scales bigger, right? Because it's always more well attended. And I think that having 2 Nationals dilutes it because then it's more money for manufacturers. It's more money for the average racer. It's more money for everybody. You have to make a choice. Do I go race the carpet Nationals? Do I go race the 10 scale Nationals? It's similar to what the ENATs and Fuel Nats went through. ENATs very much not represented, not well attended. Fuel Nats always is. Come on, just put it back together. That's all I say. Pekko, you want to say anything? Because you didn't say much. It's okay. You have nothing to say. He's like, I want to get onto the 8 scale stuff. All right. Anyway, congratulations to Skylar Mandela. Congratulations to Rush Johnson. I know both of them. Skylar, very young racer, up and coming racer, very good. Rush Johnson, more of a veteran racer. I feel for them, right? I feel for the 2 racers that paid their money to go to this race, and it's fucked up. That's all I can say. It's fucked up. It also puts Roar back so many steps on a walk that they're so far behind in the off-road community, in my opinion. So it sucks on both ways. I don't know what the answer is. I think the answer is, honestly, for Roar being better is more people get involved, but how can more off-road people get involved? But how can you convince people to do that? Or we just have to have a separate off-road federation. One of the 2, but that also takes people and volunteers and all this type of stuff to get up and do it. So it's a catch-22.
I think what you do is, I think you split it into sections, like in EFRA. That basically the people who are in charge of 8 scale have nothing to do with 10 scale. And then like the people who work at EFRA, they just make sure that everyone has what they need to make things work. I think because now it's kind of like Clayton is at every single race. Like it's not. That's not how it's going to work. You need an 8 scale guy, you need a 10 scale guy, and you need an on-road guy.
I agree with you. 100%. But you need those people to step up and do that.
I bet there would be people.
They've been trying, but there has to be a restructuring of everything, right? And I don't know what the answer is. To be honest, I think that the general consensus is off-road doesn't need them. They need them for one thing only, and that's to go to the Worlds.
Yeah, pretty much.
So,
yeah.
Let's move on. Dario Balestri wins his 11th European Championship. He won it this past weekend. They raced, it was in the UK. They raced the 1/8 scale GP, the Formula One racing class of this. I think this is a great feat, but I really can't get too excited about this because, I mean, how many people have won? I mean, Kalari won, what, 10 of these championships in his time?
9 worlds. So I think that's a bit more impressive.
He won how many worlds?
9.
Did he? Yeah, he probably won. Yeah, I'm sorry, I did get it confused. He won 9 world championships, probably won 50 fucking European championships, I would say.
I don't know.
I watched this race. I watched this race, but I didn't watch it. It's like I know he's going to win it. And it's like no competition for him in Europe. It's an exciting class. I get that. It's exciting to watch. It's exciting to race, I guess. But I just can't get excited about it. It looks like definitely something. I've driven these cars before. They're fun to drive. But I don't know, man. It's like, okay, he wins again. It's like no fun in that. Pekko, you've got a little bit more experience in this class than both of us, so maybe you can chime in on that.
Yeah, I would say this 8 scale on road is too much keen on the equipment you have. It's not that much about driving. If you have the best fucking engine, you will be way much faster. And like I have done a 1 race in 8 scale on road. Actually, I won that race. So it was Finnish Nationals also. So I made the 1 race. Actually, Timo Lena was my mechanic. It was super nice. And I had some OS engine in my car for qualifiers and everything. I was like, I think doing the same pace as the guys who are like the best guys now in Finland. And then Teemu brought an engine, which was his like worst run from the Euros. It was the slowest one he had. He said that this engine went like 9 kilometers per hour slower on the straight. I was like, okay, let's put it on. And we put it for the final. Dude, it was like the difference was night and day. The car had so much power, and then I end up winning the race like easily. It's so much about the engine. I would say also car setup plays a big role. I didn't do that much of it because the car worked super good at the get-go because I got a setup from them and he was helping me a lot. So it was like the car was amazing, but like the difference with the engine was like a couple tenths in a lap. And in that race, like that part, like it's quite much. And like even that he said that this was the worst engine he had. Imagine the best one. And Balestri is using the max engines, which are like the god tier engine, which is the best one ever in this class. Costs like 1,000 euros to get one. And Dario is the only driver who is sponsored by them. So he can have some special shit in his engine. And actually, you can see on the video, his car is going so fast down the straight. It was passing people left and right. It's crazy.
I can see that. They go through quite a lot of engines, don't they?
Yeah. They have like 10 engines for a race.
Wow. Not the cheapest form of racing, I would say. Not at all.
No. That's the reason why they got rid of the Super Bowl. Because the engine, like Pekko said, 2 tenths a lap. What is it, a 10-second lap? Yeah, 2 tenths a lap. And then that's the worst engine, you know.
But I think
then consider like you have consider you have the best engine, and then you take an engine that's the best, and you don't give a shit about fuel mileage, you know.
Yeah.
Imagine how fast that one is, and how like basically it's just an engine for a Super Bowl. You have like 3-minute fuel mileage. And like it's just fast on the straight.
I think they can tune it how much they want. There is no rules on that with the engine. They can tune it like for the Super Bowl, they had those crazy engines. But in my opinion, the Super Bowl was the best part. Like really,
I
they're
think
going
that I think
like four top guys are doing just the best lap. I think that was like, and you have like there was something to like race for also, because I think 2 goes straight to the main and 2 goes to the semifinal. So I think that's like gets the pressure for these guys, and also they are just hammering best laps.
I think what they should do is the qualifying should just be Super Bowl. You know, I think it should be like you do seeding practice, and then you seed the cars in the groups. So you have like 3 cars on the track at once, and everyone does like 3 minutes. So like you send the cars out, and everyone does the lap, and then the fastest seed goes last. And then you do
Formula One.
like, yeah, basically
Only
like
best
Formula
lap.
1. Only best lap. Imagine how cool that would, and then you run the main. Okay, after that. Then you run the main after that.
That would be.
You would cut so much time. It'd be so much more fun to watch too.
I like Super Bowl. It would definitely make it more exciting. But I guess you're right, man. I guess when you got unlimited traction cars that handle this good and setup is key, you can put on the fastest. It doesn't, like, people always like, I want the fastest engine in off-road. It don't matter. You still got to muscle that car around. Like, very.
Well, I think on
Hold
the high
on.
grade it matters nowadays.
But
Yeah,
you still
but
got to turn at the end of the race.
I think at
Turn
the
finish
Euros
line.
it mattered because you had to have so much torque for the jumps, but otherwise,
Yeah.
not that much.
Well, I
But
will
I
say
think-
this. Go ahead, Pekko.
Alright,
Sorry.
Okay. I would say A scale on road for driving wise is one of the easiest one. When I was driving it, it's just full throttle. You just steer full throttle.
Yeah. You don't brake. You don't need
Yeah,
to brake.
you don't brake. You just go like full lock into the corner, punch it
Really?
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
When the
Do
car
they
and
do they
everything
even
works,
have
it's
brake?
easy.
Do they have
They
brake?
have a bit, yeah. They have a brake. I braked a bit.
Okay.
I remember.
Oh
I
yeah, for
braked
the
a little
pit
bit.
lane.
Yeah, you need to.
Pit lane.
But they have a one way in front, so they only basically have the rear brake.
I will say this.
Yeah. Okay.
I will say this. That was a beautiful. You really see most off-road engines are equal. There are some that are faster. Don't get me wrong, but you rarely see power drag races down the straight. If you got a meter in front of somebody, it's not rare. It's not usually that people are gonna come from behind and pass you on the straightaway. But I will say this: we did have an epic pass by Ronafalk at the last recent Euros, where he just came flying off that hill and got on the inside of, carried enough speed and got enough inside on the inside. I think it was on Canas. I don't know if it was in the. It might have been in the semi. It might have been in the. It was in the
Just in the
final.
final. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about it. It was a great pass.
Yeah.
So maybe, but I still think in off-road, you still got to be able to have manageable power.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? I don't have any more news, but we do have some products to talk about. And that is brought to you by BeachRC.
BeachRC.com, the Razor's one-stop online hobby shop. Choose from all the popular brands and variety in stock with super fast shipping and great customer service. BeachRC.com still has the local hobby shop feel with all the benefits of the internet. BeachRC.com is the exclusive distributor for Ultimate Racing, S-Works, Pro Circuit Racing tires, Nitro Lux fuels, and Assault RC performance products. So fill up your cart and check out at BeachRC.com today.
Thank you, BeachRC, for your continued support. We do have an affiliate link in the written description of this podcast that you can use and help support the podcast. Did you guys see this? I thought this is pretty cool. I don't know how necessary it is in RC, but I thought it was pretty cool nonetheless. Ben Bartle of Go Machine made the, wrong. And it's the Go Machine badass nut slinging 17mm 6-shooter auto feeding socket. So
Shooting nuts.
shooting nuts.
That's quite cool, actually.
You didn't see this?
That will come handy when we need to do tire changes at the Worlds.
So this is the argument. Is it really faster or not?
I would say it would be if you know how to use it.
Yeah.
You need to have 2 drills, though. One
That's what somebody said.
Someone is stacked with the nuts, so you need to have two drills.
Oh.
But he's not going full throttle here.
No, he isn't.
Yeah.
I
think it will be faster. For sure.
It's a cool idea, but there's very little market for it, I would say.
That thing will sold out when we need to do tire changes.
We don't have to do tire changes.
I don't think there will ever be a point in off-road that you
where it would be an advantage.
You would have to the tire would have to be like a half a second a lap faster.
Now that brings up why I have this.
Well, you will see when every tire will blow up at the Worlds next year.
So this is a Adam Drake Triple XNT AD2 that I found that my buddy had in his shed here in the DR, and they got 2 of them, and he sold them to me for $100. So back in the day, gas trucks used to do tire changes. Now this is what will be worth coming in to do a tire change. Look how easy this is.
But you know what the problem is with those? It also happens in 8-scale on-road. You can lose your tire if you hit it correctly.
I'm just saying, that's quick change. I think this is cool. Yeah. I think
that tire has also offset. The 8-scale tires doesn't have that much offset, so there won't be like, it can hit some rock or you can hit some pipe and the tire can pop off.
All right, so but I will say, if we ever do come to the point where we are doing tire changes in 8-scale, it's going to be something like that, because that's still not going to be fast enough. Someone's going to come up with something like that. But I think it's a cool product. I think it's a little. It's. I don't know. I think it's like $100. That's a little expensive. So I don't know what the future of that is. But it's just like a NASCAR. So that's how NASCARs are. So they have the lug nuts in the sockets because they have 5 nuts. It's zing, 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 zing.
Nowadays they only have one.
In NASCAR?
One big one.
Yeah. That's true too. That's true. Well, they used to have it like that.
Yeah, they used to have it.
Yeah. So cool little product. I don't know what the big need of it is for it. If you want to check it out, go check. Go RC. Go Machine. Sorry, Go Machine. So I don't know. What you guys think about that in the comments. All right. Should we talk about the lightsaber antenna tubes now?
Yes.
All right.
Go ahead. Lost.
Well, we got to rant because, we got to talk about, we forgot to talk about 2 things, but we got to talk about how the NNRC is the reason for the demise of TLR's protein.
Oh, that's the rant?
That's the rant.
Okay. Yeah, we'll save it for that.
Well, let's talk about the lightsaber glowing antenna tubes, which I have on good authority that they're going to not be allowed in EFRA, IFMAR, or RAW events. Let's just get that. That's going to happen.
My opinion, they are cool.
You like them. You used one.
I do.
Clinic just released some.
It just needs to be a bit longer. They're too short. Needs to be a bit longer. Then it will be even better.
I'll tell you my opinion on them. Did you guys ever see the Drone Racing League?
Yeah, I watched a few of them.
What? Yeah. All right. So how did you know when they were racing the drones and all that stuff?
Oh, okay.
So you could see the drones, but you really followed the color. So one guy would be red, one guy would be blue, one guy would be green, and you would know which one is who. I would say, so I see where some racers don't like this because it's distracting, and there's people out there that don't like it and it's distracting and they don't want it. And I understand why ROAR doesn't want to, why maybe the federations don't want it in there. But in a perfect world, maybe years and years and years from now, this would probably be the way that you would determine which car is which instead of numbers. So imagine if every car had one and say, so car number 1 was represented by color red. So let's just say you had a color code.
Well, what if your race number doesn't match your body shape? If number 1 was red and you had a green body.
No, because it's easier. This is where I get this from. Let me finish. So when I did the 2021 Raw Nationals.
Oh, color picks, like gate picks in motocross.
Listen, could you let me finish? Fuck's sakes. They had the wing stickers, right? But they had different colors. So like number 1 was a red background for a white one. Number 2 was a yellow background for black too. So you didn't look for the numbers, you look for the colors. And I had them all laid out so I knew which color was what. So I knew which car I was looking at. So it made life so much easier. So imagine if instead of looking for fucking numbers at a track like PNB, which is huge, you just see that color and that represents number one.
I want to have a color pick, a ceremony. When it's a driver presentation, they come out of the smoke at PNB, and then they're just like, "Hey, which one do you pick?" And then the guy's just like, "I'm gonna go with red on this one." And then it's like, "Whoa, yeah, he's going red."
Yeah, but I
want to see
can
that.
see where this will fuck up a lot of people if people don't have the right colors. I'm talking about in a good world and in a perfect world where everything goes to plan.
No, but like then if it's like you can pick your color, then it's kind of like if you qualified bad, it's kind of on you, like switch your body scheme for the main, like either qualify better or switch your body scheme.
Jesus, Max. You want everybody to have different colors. Pekko, you have one. You like it.
Yeah, I like it. And actually, I just came to my mind. Someone could make me a RGB one. That would be dialed.
Oh, so you can switch it around? Like, switch
like
color?
switching color. Oh, you know what would be cool also? That the light goes down when your battery goes
Yeah.
Okay.
Lower
Now we're good.
voltage. That would be amazing. Or brake light. It will
Yeah.
turn red when you're
Oh,
braking.
Yeah, that would be great. Oh my God.
That would be good for for
the Australians because they take you out.
No, but for for the referees when they are checking like the videos or something, if someone took out or someone was backing someone off,
Oh
they can see
yeah.
that he's on brakes or something.
Yeah. Yeah, like the Burak and
Yeah, exactly.
Michal incident
Yeah.
at the Euros.
Yeah, like did he brake there like a lot or not?
Yeah. No, that's actually pretty good.
I think these
We
will
need
come and
brake
go.
lights.
I don't know what the future is.
I think we need a mandatory light stick, and then brake lights. Forward lights, maybe not, unless it's dark. But brake lights at least.
High beams
Yeah, high beam.
going down the straight. That would...
I thought I lived in a fantasy world, but you definitely too are definitely.
But imagine you're going down the back straight at DNC and you're lapping traffic, and you have the lights flashing like they do at Le Mans when they're lapping people. They always flash the lights like this.
Yeah,
imagine that. You don't have to yell like, "Oh, get the fuck out of the way." You could just be like flashing the lights.
And who's going to control the flashing lights?
On the radio, you're just like, boop, boop.
Oh, Jesus.
And then you can
what
press
about
all
people?
the time when people are letting you by.
Yeah. Or imagine if there's a jump facing the driver's stand. So you
can blind someone.
You can blind someone, You put the high beams on just at the jump.
You know what? I'm going to watermelon seed you right now. We got to, because you're going on a tangent. All right, let's get back to the point. Is it an advantage? Do you think it's an advantage to see your car on the track? Not.
No.
If you're
really,
if you have a bad eyesight, then yes.
Yeah, maybe. But for me, it didn't make any difference. It looks exactly the same.
All right, Max, you haven't tried it yet. I saw them I think it was at PNB the first time I saw one. Anyway, I think it's another product, and yeah, I don't know the future of it. I'm just kind of, it's cool. You know what they're cool for? I can use them with my action figures. Yes, we can have a green one for Luke, a red one for Vader, a purple one for Mace Windu. Be awesome.
You calling them by their first name too.
Well, I know Star Wars pretty good. But they will make cool lightsabers.
Them every day.
Actually, I have none of my action figures.
You're playing with them like this? Oh, sorry, I forgot on the right hand.
No, the other one is here, Like...
yeah, other one is
All right, we've been going on for an hour and a half.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. Let us know in the comments what you think about the lightsaber antennas. That's what I would just call them lightsabers in tennis. All right, let's move on.
I think Disney might sue them because you remember that story about Disney suing Mao or saying that you can't use the Italian job for the race.
That's true.
Yeah, so if you use lightsabers, they might come after you.
That's true. Glow sticks. All right, let's move on. Side Piece Racing. Elevate your RC experience with sidepiece-racing.com, North America's exclusive distributor for top-tier brands like Automatics, Roche, Wild Turbofan, Montec Racing, Corsatec, Phoenix Racing, and Millspeed. Whether you're seeking precision-engineered car kits, high-performance batteries, or aerodynamic bodies, they have you covered. Enjoy fast shipping and exceptional service, ensuring you get the best gear when you need it most. Visit sidepiece-racing.com and race ahead of the competition. A big shout out to our friends Kim and Martin at Latara Racing, also coming on for the NNRC content of the e-buggy worlds. One of Sweden's premier hobby shops and tracks dedicated to racers, featuring top brands like X-Ray, Hobbywing, Zoo Racing, and Team Coyote. They provide everything you need from precision chassis to high-performance electronics. Whether you're at the track or upgrading your setup, Latara Racing caters to racers who demand the best. Visit latara.se or stop by our shop and track for the ultimate race experience. Latara Racing, built for winners. Asian Buggy Championships Round 3. Why are we talking about this? It took place back in July because the fucking parrot went to it. Taking place July 16th to 20th. Pine Hills Dirt Racing, Queensland, Australia. Lots of internationals. You went over, Pekko. Tyler Jones was over there. Haro was there. Kauki Kato? Is that how we say his name?
Cookie
Kato.
Cookie Kato.
Cookie Kato.
Oil track, super high grip, and there was some tire kerfufflage there. All right, Pekko, tell us about, you've been on like a world tour of RC. So tell us about this stop and at the ABC, because did you do the New Zealand round as well?
No, I did not.
Okay, so you did the Philippines round. You did the Philippines and you did this round. Tell us about your you really liked Australia too. I see that.
Oh, dude, I loved Australia. It was so nice. It was probably the best trip I have had with RC, I would say. It was nice. Australia was super nice. I would say, like, if I would compare Australia to something, it would be cleaner and healthier USA.
Why is that?
It's just cleaner and healthier. Because the basic image of the country is kind of like the road signs and everything is like same as USA, similar. You just drive on the other side, but it's not that big of a deal because it's made quite well, so it doesn't distract you that much. And yeah, I would say that basic image, like the houses and everything, is kind of similar to USA, but then the food and everything is much better and it's like more healthier and also super clean. I really liked it.
Did they have better brisket than the USA?
No. I didn't have brisket, but for sure not.
Okay. Tell us about the track, oil track.
I would say the track, I was surprised. It was super, super high grip on the practice days. And also, like, the track was quite tight and they made the layout bit. I would say the layout was a bit too tight for that high grip of a track. Like, could have been, if it would have been more smoother, probably it would have been nicer to drive around. But I think overall the track wasn't that bad. I think it was quite good. But yeah, it didn't have like that good flow in the track, I would say.
You said it was rough. In what sense was it rough? Like,
no, I didn't say it was rough.
You said smoother. Sorry, I misunderstood you.
I didn't say smoother.
I could have sworn I heard you say smoother.
No, I did not.
Okay.
I said it was tight, you know, and a lot of grip, you know.
I forgot Walker made the trip over her as well.
Yeah, but yeah, it was quite bit different, and the jumps were a bit weird, I would say. And also the thing with this track was it was changing everyone, so it made quite hard for, because like on the practice day it was super grippy, but then it was a bit like lower grip, and then I don't know.
So
every day.
All right, so we're watching the A final here, which you started in 4th. This actually got called about 16 minutes in because of weather.
No, it was 12 minutes. Probably.
Okay.
Like Also, I would say bit stupid thing by the organizers was that they never checked the weather forecast on this day. They should have checked it and then call it, okay, we run this main in the middle of some mains when we could have like done it easily. But then we went to warm up the cars and we were warming up, and then Scotty just came. There's raining coming in 1 hour, and I can already see the black clouds. So I was like for sure that it will be there like in 20 minutes or something. But then still, we had to do a picture before. We could have just take the picture later and just go drive, and not drive on a 12-minute main.
Yeah, it seems to be. It was kind of plagued by the same problem as we talked about the Australian Nationals earlier.
Yeah.
Maybe they could have set it up where it's unfortunate because we want to see you guys run an hour-long main.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is you guys, the 8-scale GP or Nitro Buggy is the star performer of these races. So maybe they could have did a quick schedule change. Who knows? But like I said, it reminds me of the Australian tracks when I said they all kind of are very similar.
Yeah, that's true.
You see the Australian style track here. I know that Zach and the guys were the big proponents of the oil, but I mean, you had experience prior to this. Oh, look, there's you right there going around the jump. You had prior experience at the Philippines track. I guess my comparison would be, how was it compared to what was the big difference between that and the Philippines track? Was maybe the Philippines track was hotter?
The Philippine track was more like smooth going around. It had better rhythm in it, and because when you have a high grip track which is super tight, it also unsettles the car a bit because the car is like on an extreme level because it's super high grip and you need to go like full brake, full steering lock and stuff like that. It makes it a bit harder for the setup wise and everything. So that's like this is like that kind of track when you're practicing alone, you can get most out of it. When you're practicing in a groups on Wednesday, you don't get that much out of it because it's a bit harder, I would say.
Well, you are in second right now.
Yeah.
So maybe tell us about your final. Right now, you are chasing down
at the start. Now I overtook him. I would say at the start my car was amazing. It was the best it had been on the final and the whole race. And yeah, I got the right tire. I changed from 6-mic to Jetco because almost everyone, I don't want to say who was, but almost everyone was running those Jetcos. And yeah, they were a bit different because they are belted, so they don't expand. And the problem with this track was that the tire was collapsing when you go on throttle. So how do you say it? Rippling or something like that when you go on throttle? I don't know.
Yeah, like a drag car.
Like a drag car. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that because you have so much more forward traction with these tires, but you lose some side grip. So I think if I would known that you need to run this tire on the first practice day, I would have been better because I changed it for the last qualifier or the second last qualifier. So it made the car more different. Actually, the thing was that in practice, I tried these ones and they were not better than the 6-mic ones. But when the grip came down for the qualifiers and mains, these were faster than the 6-mics. Because my car was super good on the practice day and also the first practices we had. But then it went down a bit. So yeah, it's just I didn't have the knowledge about the tire.
Why was the grip so high? Like, isn't it just a standard oil track?
Yeah, it's just standard oil track. I don't know. It was super sticky like the first days. Just super sticky. But then when it rained a bit, then it got a bit slippery. But it's still the grip came up. But then at the end of the day, it was again a bit more slippery. It was a bit weird.
Yeah.
Because there was also dust coming from those holes that there is in every landing of the track.
Yeah, I remember in Sweden for the Nordics, I don't know if the grip was this much, but I remember that being like when you walked on it, like your shoes stick to it. It was like
it's
not the same like when you, for example, at Redovan, when the grip is high, the shoes really don't stick. It's not like sticky.
no.
It's just like very abrasive.
Yeah, that's why you run normal compound there.
Yeah. But here, and I think it was similar in Sweden because I was just consistently having issues with grip rolling. It was just like impossible to keep the car in its wheels. The grip is weird because it doesn't allow you to slide at all, and the tire doesn't even wear much.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think like the difference between glued track and oil track is that when the track is glued, the track has the grip, and when the track is oiled, the tire will have the grip.
Yeah. I think that's actually a great way to put it.
Maybe explain that a little better, please.
I mean, technical terms, or
the thing is that these oil tracks are more flat, and they need to have the now my car. I think the rear end went too soft or something, so it started to be weird to drive. It was a bit weird, but yeah, I think because these tracks are so slick and like super flat, the tire needs to grip. If you run wrong compound here, you will be sliding all around. But on a glue track, because the track is not like, it's not super smooth. It's like sandpaper, I would say. So you can basically run almost any tire. You still have some grip at least. That was Australian way to race.
Yeah, he just jumped on you.
Yeah.
But like I think that's actually a great way to put it because when the tire doesn't wear, that basically means that the tire doesn't slide, or slip. It kind of means that the grip is sort of adhesive. So similar to two materials sticking together, you can have abrasive wear and you can have adhesive wear. And similarly, you can have adhesive friction and abrasive friction. And the difference is that with abrasiveness, the surface is usually the abrasion is generated from the fact that the surface is like uneven. And then the adhesion, you can have the friction, you can have the wear, or the grip for that matter, which would be the friction in this case. Even though the surfaces are, surfaces are smooth. And this is basically, it comes down more to the material. So when the grip is abrasive, the friction and the wear, yes, it's down to the material as well. A softer material will wear down more from abrasion, but the grip, as in friction, will be controlled by the surface of the material, which in RC is usually the thread has more control. And that's why normal compounds work, because you kind of forcing on the pin to grip more, and you don't need the rubber itself to grip as much. And then when it's like this, basically the fastest tire always is a slick. Like as long as the rubber is right, as long as everything, there's no dust and whatever. But as long as there's a little bit of dust or anything on the track, then you're gonna need a little bit of thread. And in here, the grip is purely chemical. So you have the rubber compound. Yes, the structure of the tire does have an effect, but what generates the grip is sort of the chemical adhesiveness of the tire. I don't know much about rubbers, so I'm not gonna say anything what makes the rubber grip or whatever, but I know how wear works in adhesion and in abrasion. So that's kind of the principle that works here.
I understand what Pekko was saying. So this track, with the glue track, like in
you didn't understand what I was saying.
No, I understand what you're saying too, but I mean, sorry. I should say I understand the statement that he made. I just wanted it to be clear for people who are listening as well. I get it because I've never been on an oil track, but I've been on glue tracks, and you can still be good on a worn out tire on a glue track, right? Obviously,
it depends.
If you're on the line, you can
if
be
you're
good.
on the line, if you go on, then you won't work.
But
I would say similar to sugar tracks. Like sugar tracks are very similar. So remember when we went to SMB for RCGP round 1, Pekko? Was you there?
No.
You didn't go to round? Oh man. So at round 1, everybody was upset of the spec tire because it was big lugs and all this type of stuff. And they're like, this isn't the fastest tire for this track. But it was a tire that actually made it to the end because it was completely bald at the end, but you still had grip. So sugar is very, very abrasive, right? So
yes,
once
exactly.
and glue I would say that the glue track, when it's fresh, is absolutely too much traction, right? It's too much traction rolling. It's too much. So you want it to get to where it gets that little bit of a give, right? When the oil gets on there and traction, and rubber gets on it, that's when it's at its best. But it's interesting. It's in two different, maybe the way they applied. So you think it's all about the way the track was as well, Pekko, compared to how the track was in Philippines? Because both oil tracks, and this is an interesting topic because we're starting to see some more track owners starting to think about sealing their tracks in the USA. My buddy told me recently that Mike's, they're in Texas, the other track that's on their roof, they sealed their track with glue. And they did it so they don't have to water as much, and it's better for tires. It's better on tire wear. My buddy was like, hey, we was on worn tires, we were still fast. So as much as people would say this isn't old school off-road or whatnot, I think this is kind of where we're getting to in the future of RC, these type of tracks sealed, or whether it be oil or glued at this point.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference at a big race between oil and glue is that when you go to an oil track, even if it's brand new, you're gonna be running clays, and if it's a glue track, you're gonna be finding the compound all the time. And it could be like one rain could wash
now
away.
You can see everyone is just sliding around.
And this is the downside of the oil. And you can see here, I think this actually explains really well what I mean by abrasion and adhesion. As soon as you put water on the track, all the grip is lost. But when it's a glue track, the grip is in a lot of ways built by the abrasion of the surface.
Yeah.
So
it was it's just ice rink now.
Yeah, you can see how the cars go. Yeah, even if you brake, the car just don't stop. It's crazy.
Yeah.
This was the same in Sweden.
I was pissed at this point.
And you can see it's not even coming down hard.
No, it's not. It's a bit. Yeah, it's just like I had a big mistake, like after the refuel or something, and then I tried to reel them in, but then I think I had a small bubble or something, and just dropped down a bit. But I think it could have been a good fight between all of three. It's just unfortunate.
That's how it goes. The sun was still out. It was must have been.
Yeah, it was. It's just raining. Yeah.
Interesting.
No, but it's crazy because it can be like you don't even feel any rain on you when you're
exactly. I was like, when I was coming down the front straight, my car just suddenly pushed. I was like, what? Did my car break down or what? And then I felt it's now raining.
Yeah, and that's what happens when there's like so much oil. Like when there's a lot of oil, that's what happens, because then there's no contact with the dirt anymore. The contact is purely with the oil and the rubber that's sticking to the oil.
Reminds me of JQ's video at the 40 plus euros when he's in 360.
Yeah, exactly.
Down the straightaway. Good stuff. Wrap up your experience there. You said there was a lot of rough driving there, Pekko. You weren't too happy with that.
Yeah, I would say, it was quite rough. People were taking you out, and I think it comes down that they don't have that much experience to race with people that they are like same kind of pace. They don't have that many races like inside Australia that all the fast guys goes and stuff like that, what I heard. And when these guys are racing national, like regionally, I would say, they are like just the fastest and they don't race anyone. So I think like you can see also at the nationals they had people were taking out quite a bit. But actually, I don't mind if someone takes me out and says sorry after, but no one said sorry, so I mind then.
What do you think about Bernard Zek? He's like the next big thing. Well, I shouldn't say he's the next big thing. He's kind of resigned himself to being a part-time racer, but I know a lot of guys were very excited about him.
He has been
is he the best in Australia?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
I think he's quite fast, but people has been saying that he went to Silver State or something, DNC or something, but
Silver State.
He didn't do that good. So he hasn't raced in anywhere else after that, I think.
I would agree with that. You know what else I forgot to say? Congratulations to the thylacine, Aaron Dexter. He's the Truggy champion, national champion.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to say that in the Australian Nationals. All right. Anything to add about the ABC before we move on to your next stop? Because you went straight from here to the USA. Anything to add?
I don't know.
Let's go through the results. We didn't
Good
even
idea.
talk about who won.
Bring up the results.
So let's see who we have. Obviously, we saw the Nitro main with Koki. Sorry,
Alex.
Let me go back.
Alex
coming out on top. But going through E-Buggy, Alex was really good in the beginning. Alex got his best 2 runs in the beginning, and then Koki picked up the pace near the end. Tyler Jones was actually pretty impressive at this race. Qualified 3rd in E-Buggy. In front of Pekko, in front of Caleb, who was in 5th. One thing that we didn't discuss was qualifying was 2 out of 5. In HK off-road, it's never 2 out of 5.
Yeah, and I think in our situation, it was stupid because we already had a whole day rain delayed. Oh no, it wasn't a whole day. We had like 1 or 2 one round of qualifying after, but then we just still had to have 1 more in the morning. We should have just gone straight to the finals. That just the last 5th round of qualifier was a bit nonsense, I would say. That would have also cleared out the rain at the end.
Yeah, instead of running 1 more round of qualifying, which by the way, when running 2 out of 5, you absolutely don't need. You can run 2 out of 4 easily.
Yeah, exactly.
You could have run that 60-minute main.
Yeah.
I don't understand that part. I don't understand why it's not 3 out of 5 at all. So
yeah. But then moving on to the finals in E-Buggy, Koki Kato, he won A1, Bernard Jack won A2, and then Koki won A3. Jones again, keeping his spot in 3rd. I do want to ask Pekko because he told me he went to this race to win E-Buggy. But you was 4th.
Tried to win both.
So
I would say it's a similar story with the E-Buggy as the Nitro, because I was testing these tires for Nitro and stuff like that. So it was just because of I didn't have knowledge about the tire and just the track was changing constantly. So it was a bit like hustle for me. And it wasn't that far away that I could have made the podium in E-Buggy, but I just didn't have the pace. And also I got taken out or I think A2 and 3. So that didn't help any.
So takeouts cost you the win?
Nah. My own skills cost me the win in both.
See? Wow. That
exactly.
It's impressive. That's impressive.
Oh, I learned that from JQ.
JQ still has to learn that one though.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, behind Pekko though, what is he? 2-time world champion, Achusihara. This guy's still racing.
Yeah.
Doesn't race much out of Asia. Yeah, he's always okay.
Well. He was
Wasn't he like I don't know if he made the A main at the TITC or was he at the top of the B? But he's around there.
He was top of the B. I think he started 2nd or something. It was close.
Yeah,
I was rooting for him.
Yeah, he's not actually. He's racing at a sort of a high level still. But yeah, that's E-Buggy. Kokikata taking the win with Alex in second and Jones in third. Lots of takeouts. Seems to be the Australian way, as Pekko Pekko told us before we started. And then Nitro Buggy. Yeah, Alex TQ'd. And it was kind of the opposite. Koki started good in Nitro, bad in E-Buggy, and then Alex, the opposite, started good in E-Buggy, bad in Nitro, and then in the end, Alex took the TQs. Jones got a TQ in both classes, again in third, Pekko in fourth, and Noble in fifth again. In the finals, yeah, well, we saw it. Pekko got into. I think you could have won the Nitro one without a few of those mistakes in the after the pit stop. I think you could have even won it with the rain. Was still third. Bernardchak won. Koki in second. I think Koki is looking to be the champion this year of the Asian Buggy Challenge, at least in Nitro. He has a win in the Philippines.
I think I have a good shot in E-Buggy.
Yeah. So how is the series now? Do they count 3 out of 4?
Yeah, 3 out of 4. I think Cookie will win if he just finishes in podium. I think we will be racing me, Cookie, and Jaden.
Oh, for Nitro or for
E-Buggy?
for
Nitro. For Nitro. I think Caleb is not coming there. And for E-Buggy, it will be between me, Jaden, and Caleb.
So Caleb has 1 win, or
no.
So who has the wins in E-Buggy?
Ongaro, Alex. No, Koki, Ongaro, and who was in the first? I'm not sure who won.
But Koki doesn't have a chance to win in E-Buggy?
No, because he didn't race Philippines.
Ah, so he only has 1 race now in E-Buggy.
Yeah. I'm not sure who won in.
Somebody will let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll look it up in a minute.
We'll leave it that to the NNRC squad. Either way, track looked cool, I think. I would like to go on a track like this, but it looked really high grip. I wrote in my notes that Australians like to take people out. Surely something we should visit when we have an Australian on the show. And yeah, race was run a bit weird. That's also what I put down in my notes. I think not running the main earlier when you knew rain was coming, the race earlier when the rain was coming. 2 out of 5, like who runs that? No one really runs that in A scale anywhere. And yeah, that's about it. Great race nonetheless. I think the Asian Buggy Challenge is, dare I say, like closest to what we got into RCGP since? Like,
I think that
closer.
series is one of the best we have at the moment.
Yeah.
Because it's like the schedule is amazing. The schedule is amazing. It's like 1 race in 2 months or something. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's the only international 180 series in the world.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like Americans could do this tomorrow if they wanted to, but they just don't. Europeans, they tried it, but they never really worked out. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But nonetheless, this is a really good series, and I hope it keeps going.
I like it. I like it a lot. Coverage is great, and it's a good event. My goal is the Philippine race next year. I'd like to go to all of them. Sorry, Ragnar Whitepaws is biting my feet here. He's awake now. If you guys know, I have a puppy. Ow! You know how puppy teeth are. I like it. So next round will be in Indonesia, correct?
Yeah, Indonesia. Yeah, Jakarta.
That's a beautiful track.
That track looks amazing. I'm looking forward to that so much.
That's a race I'd like to go to Indonesia as well. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff to the Australians. Good weekend for them in Australian Nationals. Definitely could be some improvement with scheduling, with rain coming on. And I guess the big topic out of this, we're going to not beat this dead horse, was lots of guys jumping ship and running techno tires. Jumping ship from their tires sponsors and running the Jetco tires. You mentioned it. I had another person from Australia mention it to me. I'm not surprised at it. People can go on the tire that works at the end of the day. It's like,
but I would say, like, if you commit to some brand, you should run it. If you're signing a paper that says that you're running these tires, you should do it.
I agree.
I don't have a tire sponsor. I can run whatever. That's why
you can.
I don't have it. Then I can just choose. Oh, this tire is the best. I'll run these.
But you know what type of society we're living in now. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All right, let's get on to the next race, which was Wicked Weekend, which Pekko attended. Big switch up from that. That's brought to you by ML Toys, Invisible Speed, and Dollar Hobbies. So let's get that going. Let's find the right commercial here right now, real quick. And there we go.
Are you looking to take your ride-on car to the next level? ML Toys makes it easy with plug-and-play modifications like motors, speed and brake controls, and more. ML Toys is the one-stop shop to make your ride-on car the coolest car in the neighborhood.
And thank you to Invisible Speed, and we got Rasta Pekko. Rasta man, you got a new hat. That's Salty Joe boy.
Salty Joe. This is.
I noticed. Actually, it's not, but I get it. It's more of a Jamaican thing that Bermudians seem to adopt.
Yeah, but it's cool. I like it.
Of course you like it. Of course you do. You know, I have no.
I really like one Salty Joe. He's already bringing me gifts from Bermuda.
You know what? At least he brings you some gifts because he don't bring me nothing. And
yeah, but you lived there.
I do not live in Bermuda.
Yeah, you lived. Not living anymore.
Stop scrolling, you wanna be Lewis Hamilton. Learn something new with Invisible Speed. You can't do everything at 100% maximum speed. You have to be smooth. I mean, when you drive a real car, if you drive a real car, how do you just, when you get to a 90-degree corner to turn into the parking lot, do you go like that with the steering wheel? Do you like slam on the throttle and the brake? No, you probably turn the wheel smooth and get on the throttle smooth. Same thing with an RC car. If you want to learn more and make your speed visible, stop scrolling.
Stop scrolling. I saw in the picture that Jake you had that there are some Invisible Speed tools coming out as well. Is that true?
No one knows. You know what? I talked with JQ about this ad, and he said that you are just lazy. He sent you some ads, and you are just too lazy to change it.
I have not received anything from him.
Yeah, that's what he said to me, dude. I said that you need to send us a new ad.
I haven't received anything from him.
I've sent the ad. That's what.
No, I have not. I have not received any email from JQ or anything.
Maybe you
because I asked him. Excuse me.
Maybe you missed it.
Maybe I did, but I doubt that I have. I'll check, and if I did, I'll get them up. Anyway, JQ will always have an excuse for what he doesn't do. We all know that, so I'm not worried about that. Rasta Pekko, Rasta Parrot. Wicked Weekend was next for you. Quick turnaround. Did you even stop in Finland? No, you went straight from Australia to America.
Yeah, I had I was 2 days in Australia after the race, and it was super nice. Went to a zoo and stuff like that. And huge thanks to Sam Carstairs to taking care of me. It was super nice. He's listening to this podcast.
Who's that?
Sam Carstairs.
Oh, okay.
That's one dude in Australia.
Oh, okay. I figured out who he is.
Flew straight from Australia to Atlanta. It was a long trip, like 30-hour trip. I had a stop in Sydney and LAX. Yeah, that was a tough trip because I went in the airport in Australia. They said good morning to me, and when I land to LAX, they said good morning to me. So that tells how fucked up it was. So yeah. What do I say about Wicked?
Hold on. Before we go on any further, I just checked my email. I have nothing from JQ.
Yeah, so Wicked Weekend.
let's start on Wicked Weekend. I'll start off on Wicked Weekend. Wicked Weekend, Pekko, before you get into your criticisms of Wicked Weekend, it was the biggest Wicked Weekend so far. It was warm. I enjoyed my time there. I enjoyed coming over to Mayako Pits talking shit to you every time.
It was
And
nice.
Cavallari. I enjoyed that part of it. It was like
Me too.
so last year when I went, it was raining. So we kind of missed all of that. But the first year I went, it was similar to what it was. It was pretty big. It was everybody was out. They weren't doing like the crazy stuff like they were doing. They weren't blowing up fireworks and stuff like that. That's what I really wanted you to see. But this is your first time coming to a Southeast type of race, right? It's a lot of people there. Christian Walhunter was there. He was like, Jesus, it's a lot of people here. My friend Harold, he was there as well. We had a big Bermuda contingent. Shout out to all the Bermuda guys that came up. It was good to see those guys. Quaz, Naeem, Marcel. Did you see Marcel's paint job? So, dude, Marcel has a paint job of the in the intro of this, the truck that has free candy on board. He has a paint job of that on his car. Dude, I was like, dude, what made you do that? It's like, I think it's funny. So he actually has a paint job of the free candy on board on the, from Drew Singer's truck. So Salty Joe, of course, the salt is a salt. Bought me drinks, but bought me guava, which I don't drink. But always good to see him. Always good to see. For the Bermudians, it's an easy trip because it's a trip to Atlanta. They fly up one way, and it's only an hour out of Atlanta. So it's a good trip for people coming in internationally. I was really hoping Canas would come this year, but he didn't. Sorry, Ragnar White Paws is just busy biting up something here that he shouldn't be biting. So I always enjoy this race. I enjoyed the race. It's had some good tracks. And I thought this is not going to be any different. I'm glad that we had a different winner, but let's get into some of the things of it. It was a big race. It was bigger than last year. I've said that over time, but it had way more entrants, but it was a lot of people there, dude. It was like DNC when I went a couple years ago. There were like 5 different vendor trucks, vendor hobby shops set up. Everybody seemed to be making some money. I talked to various people who were there. Like, yeah, we just had busy people coming in and buying stuff there. Obviously, big Mayako presence there. Big Mayako presence there. I want to say congratulations to everybody that made that happen. Tony Scarsella, Richard Bratton, all those type of guys. You know what? Pekko and I got in the same argument that you and I got in at PMB, Max.
Really?
What is that?
Over Truggy.
What happened?
Over Truggy.
Oh, he said he didn't want to run Truggy?
Yes. And I was over there. Dude, Salty Joe's truck looked fucking great. That was the best Mayako Truggy I saw all weekend. That truck was
looked
good.
super good, actually. Yeah.
And I was
but
like,
it wouldn't have hold up 3 drivers. Okay, let's put it that way.
It should have been. You should have been. I told him, you give up your Truggy run and let
No.
And let you run. Pekko's like, I'm not running Truggy. I said, it's not about you. It's about the community. But he wouldn't listen to me.
We'll run next time Truggy when I will be in US with Mayako. It will be good.
But I did get to see the Truggy. I like the things that JQ's done. And they told me about the plans that it's going to be and how it's going to be. That's going to be awesome. And when it ever comes to fruition, it is going to blow the socks off of people. Trust me,
for sure.
From what I heard. So I look forward to seeing that when it comes out. And hold on for a second. You know what, Pekko? You were supposed to take one for the team and run Truggy. But no, you and your hard-headed Finnish attitude, just like this Finnish fucking guy right next to you, when we had the same argument back in 2019 about him running Truggy. What do you guys have against Truggy?
I don't have anything against Truggy. The thing was that I decided before the race that unfortunately, I was super sad to make the decision that I'm not going to drive Truggy. So when I go to this race, my mindset is, okay, I'm going to run Nitro Buggy and E-Buggy. And that was my goal for the weekend, that I will run these classes. And yeah, there was no time for Nitro Truggy at that point. Because the decision was made before.
You know what? That was a piss poor decision. Piss poor. Anyway, Let's get into it because we'll talk about the first thing, the track. Let's bring up I'm just going to bring up a video of the track in its later stages. When I got there, we saw that Bobby had made a big dragon's back for the track, and I'm not gonna lie, I think he used every single piece of dirt that he had for that dragon's back, and it became the main feature of the track. But it kind of left the rest of the track lackluster, I would say, and I think that was the general consensus from everybody that I talked to there about the track. But the saving grace of the track was that it actually blew out. So we're getting started here. This is the Pro Nitro Buggy A final. And I've never seen Wicked Weekend get this rough, to be honest.
I think the thing with the track was that you go pinned almost everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is this Mount Everest in the middle of the track. Then a couple jumps. And almost every corner that we had was off camber. And when you get stuck in the Mount Everest, there is no way out. If you need a marshal, if you're lucky, the marshal have life insurance and he can go and jump between the jumps and just get your car on wheels again. But if he doesn't, that's just gonna take half a lap. And that's what happened to me in the B main. One guy made a mistake in front of me. I think he cased one of the jumps and then I hit him because I was already flying behind of him. So I hit him and then my car just went the wrong way and someone hit me and then I was on my roof in the middle of the Mount Everest. And then I waited for half a lap and that was my race was ruined at that point. But yeah, I would say the track wasn't that good.
You know what? I would actually have to agree with you. I think in hindsight, the track blew out and that's what made it better.
Yeah. Then you didn't go pinned everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
As for the Dragon's back, on paper it looks good. And I'll tell you, from a viewer spec point, when I was watching on camera, it looks good when it gets done.
Yeah, it's true.
But dude, there were some moments that I was just like,
it was close calls, yeah.
Yeah, and it reminded me of a track that they did for AMS when I went to my first AMS, I had a dangerous crossover.
Yeah.
And I know it's not that much dirt in this arena. So a lot of it got used on that. I know this is probably the closest thing we have to a Red Bull straight rhythm section, I would say. I get it, but I would prefer to see more obstacles on the track. I think if we go back to last year's track, I thought last year's track was great. It was like one big rhythm section where you had to go through and he did an awesome job. Little Bump was faster as well. Watching Little Bump out there right now. But that's, if this track wouldn't have blown out, it would have been a very, like you said, full chat, just sending it everywhere. So in hindsight, okay, the blowing out part made it a much better track, in my opinion.
And I think actually I preferred the track when it was blown out also just before the straight and after the straight. I think it was better on the practice. Yeah, I think I liked it more in the practice day than when they fixed it for like qualifying and stuff like that.
I actually didn't like that. I didn't like that part.
It was more exciting when it was like...
It was definitely exciting.
The thing that with the setup wise, it was easier to set up the car for that because the track was bumpy everywhere. Now you have some fast corners, like fast flat corners, but then you need to get your car handle the bumps, and the bumps were not small; they were quite huge, actually.
Okay. Max, give us your thoughts on the track, and then we'll move on from there.
Definitely agree with pretty much everything. I think the issue with a lot of these American tracks is you have always that very, very high speed sweeper, and it always gets very bumpy. And then you have these really hard pack, smooth sections on it as well. So in terms of setting up the car, you're kind of like, if you are a top driver, you have to set it up so that it kind of sucks on the bumps. You know, like to be fast, it has to suck on the bumps because it has to be really good on the flat stuff.
Yeah.
And then you kind of just try to keep it on the line. And I think that's kind of the tough part about it. Like, just to give an example, like Vegas 2016, no matter which line you picked, there was bumps, you know? So you set up the car for bumps, and then you drove as well around the track as you could. But here it's kind of like you set up your cars for a flat track and it's still bumpy, you know, so you gotta avoid the bumps at all costs. So I think that's kind of it makes the racing look really chaotic. Like people make a lot of mistakes because like obviously because the cars don't work on the bumps because you have to be fast. So I think that has been an issue at the weekend before. I think the only way to sort of diminish that is to slow the track down, which was the opposite that was done here. um, and I think it worked out pretty okay. It still kind of did all those things I said. And the Dragon's back, yes, it looks cool, but I don't know if you really need a section like that or if you need that much dirt in it either. I think like just having a few jumps in a row is, in my opinion, a good enough rhythm because you can make the rhythm section so that it's hard to go fast through it, not that it's hard to go through it. And I think that's kind of the way we have to look at it because, sure, the track probably is not, the Dragon Spec probably is not that hard for the pros, but for the average drivers, I think like that's just like crazy difficult. And then on top of that, the marshalling aspect of it, like that has to be taken into account. And because the thing, I think you can manage a technical layout with it being safe to marshal and still like technical that it's difficult to go fast, but not like a killer to those guys who are not maybe the pros. Um, I think in America it's kind of like people are used to having jumps like this, so they don't complain when their car breaks. But if you did a jump like this in Europe, everybody would like cry that, oh, this is too difficult. I break my car, blah blah blah. Which, in my opinion, is a bit silly, yes. But I do think there is a point that you don't need to make jumps like or use this much dirt for a jump combination to make a technical jump combination. And I think, like you said, rest of the track was built around it. Like all of this sort of slow speed sections were there kind of just to slow the track down. At least that's what it looked like. And there was pretty much like a few chicanes, those sweepers at the beginning and the end of the straight. So, yeah, I guess like I give props for Bobby for being pretty much the only one who is like actively trying new things. Because rest of the tracks in the world pretty much are very basic, I think. Or not basic, that's maybe the wrong word, but like Mugello builds tracks, but you can see a Mugello track, you know? But it's hard to recognize a Bobby track, to be honest, because they're always so different.
I would agree with those points. I get what they're trying with the Dragon's Back. On paper, it look good. On video, it look good. But I would say this about Joey's rhythm sections that he likes to have on the front straightaway. Let's there's triple, there's doubles. 2018 DNC that you won. I thought that was fucking the most dangerous section ever. Like that front rhythm section where people find it hard to marshal and stuff like that. So yeah, I get it. It was nothing that could be done about it. I'm glad that it blew out because it slowed the track down. It made it more exciting. It made for better. I liked it a lot more, and it did blow out. I've never seen it blow out that much. But if you want to say, if I was to tell you my honest opinion, I really liked last year's track much better than this one. That's my thoughts. But hey, he tried something different. I guess he won't do that again because it took too much dirt and didn't have the, it takes away from the rest of the track, right?
It does.
It just kind of is what it is. And I think that this race is getting so big, the track has to be big too. You know what I mean? it has to be big. It has to match the race. Like P&B they go all out. Well, I think that now that Wicked Weekend is probably a mini P&B to an extent, and people come from around the world to race on this track. So we'll see. I look forward to seeing what he does at AMS.
Yeah,
I enjoyed the track as a viewer. I don't know if I would have enjoyed the track as a racer. And I definitely would not have wanted to be the marshal trying to get cars out of that dragon. And if you crash there, dude, you just lost so much time, right?
Yeah.
But when you hit
know.
it perfectly, and it was like, pip, 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 and then that last jump sent you up in the air, and you was like, whew, it looked good.
Cool.
It looked fucking good.
So, one thing I need to give props for the track. I made the best overtake on this track I have ever made. It was actually quite cool. On the left corner, when there is the double, it broke. It was in the e-buggy main, so the inside of the jump was there was a hole, so it was jumping high. And when you go outside, you were jumping low, the double, but you can still land it. So you just pin it, and you fly so much slower that I was behind a fee, and he went inside line. I went the outside line. I just punch it from the outside and to the inside, and I actually flew under him and passed him. But then he took me out. But he said sorry, so I was fine with it. But
so the thing is, we can take you out, Pekko, but we got to say sorry afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. I remember that.
That's when you show respect for the other driver. If you take someone out, yeah, you are waving, but it's not that fun. But then when the guy comes over and said, "Hey, look, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it," then it's fine. You show the respect.
What if he does it again?
Well, that's racing. Can happen.
Okay. Let's go through e-buggy results here. E-buggy qualifying. So Brandon Rose, Ryan Mayfield, Seth Van Dalen, Fend, and Ryan Lutz, and Douglas Schufelt, the Canadian, in 6. Jared Wiggins, Jonah Wilson, Joey Bardon, Mason Fuller, Lee Setzer, Fee Long, Caden Fuller, David Olsen, Pekko Evening. Did you make the A final? Let me see.
Yeah, I did. I was running. I think I was running 10th or something. Then my servo broke.
Okay. In finals for the e-buggy class, we had Mayfield, Fend, Rose. So Mayfield got through Rose early on and held that lead to the finish. Fend and Rose did have a good battle for second near the end of that. And probably Rose felt like he left something on there. But once you give Mayfield a lead like that, it's hard to get it back, especially in e-buggy. Van Dalen, behind the top 3, we had Van Dalen. He dropped down to 4th. Fuller coming all the way from 10th to 5th. This would be a preempting of what he does in the Nitro Buggy final, but a very hectic main, right? I remember calling this. It was hectic. It was very hectic. So congratulations to Ryan Mayfield. Congratulations to Fend, and congratulations to Rose. I know, because I really want to talk about Nitro Buggy. That's what I want to talk about, because that was the qualifying for Nitro Buggy was good. I enjoyed it. So that's probably why I'm rushing through that as well. I have to say also the intermediate class provided some good racing.
Yeah, but I think e-buggy was a bit boring, to be honest. So I'm fine with us kind of going through it fast.
All right. Qualifying for Nitro Buggy was a lot better. We had Fee coming on in round 1 with a 3. Ryan Lutz, round 1 in the new MP11 with a win. A TQ in round 1. Fee taking TQ in round 2 and an 8. And then we had Mason Fuller, who went from 16th to 3rd to 0. And that's what Mason Fuller has to do in order to be in these positions. Brandon Rose had a 2-2 and a 16. Fenn had a 4-4 and a 2. Lutz a 0-8 and a 6. Jonah Wilson, very good. Toasted on. He had an 18, a 6, a 5, and a 3. Mayfield kind of way down the line had a bad Q1, a 21, a 6, and a 5, so still kind of mid-pack. And then Seth Van Dalen was 5, 17, 9. Lee Setzer, Jared Tebow, Camden Lime, Wiggins, Chase Lemieux. You got to remember that because he had a good run in this race. Tater Sontag, and it was Julian Oliveras. Did they bump 2? Was it 16 and 2? Yeah. So then it was Spencer Heckert who was the last one. And then we had Cole Caston, Douglas Schufelt, Cavallari, Kristen Warhunter. A good run for Kristen Warhunter as first big race. Joey Bordon. And I got a shout out to Nate Sutherland, too, right? Tackling the 8 scale run, even though at 22. And there you are, Pekko, 23. What went wrong with you in Nitro Buggy qualifying, good buddy?
Everything. I had a good run going on the first one, but then I hit the big hole in the back section and I just flew out of the track. So that didn't help. I think I was like, that pace would have get me to top 10 in the first run. It would have been good, but then just unfortunate error from me. Just picked the wrong line and got literally the worst out of it. Basically, it could have been just bounce out, but then I just bounced off the track and I was somewhere hitting the fence. And then in the next one, then they made a resort, so I was in the B hit. So then there was someone in front of me, was backing me off a bit, so that didn't help. And then in the last one, I just blew it out, I think, on my own. So yeah, definitely not the best race for me.
I think the star of qualifying was the Kyosho MP11, to be honest.
Yeah.
That car impressed me a lot.
Yeah, me too.
I watched Ryan Lutz's car quite a lot. I watched T's car a lot, and the cars were great.
Yeah, I think for Lutz, the track was way different in the first qualifier. It was slicker than it was at the race, like any other round. So I think that point his tires were amazing for the track, and that's why he TQ'd. And then I think the other rounds were not that good. But then Fee with the JC tires, he was flying after.
Sorry, dude. I thought this was going to be the race. I thought this was going to be Fee's first big Nitro Buggy win. He was that fast. Let me tell you something. I am a long time Mugen guy and always been a Mugen guy and not like Kyosho at all. But I tell you what, after watching this, I wanted a Kyosho. The car looked great. I don't know, Max, you've been geeking out on the Kyosho for some time. Maybe give us your thoughts about it.
I was impressed. I thought this would be the type of track that would be the absolute worst for the new Kyosho. Then you released that video of Lutz going around the track, and people was like, "Oh, it's so slippery. Just put the old rear end back on. It looks horrible. Kyosho is going the wrong direction." And then I watched the video. I even commented on it, like, "Dude, the car doesn't look half bad. Like, sure, he's overdriving a bit. Sure, the rear end's a bit slippy when he overdrives it, but it actually has really good forward bite. Like, it looks good." And then, lo and behold, Q1, Lutz goes in TQs. V TQs round 2. It was good. I think they're onto something. I think the days of Pekko knows that line. But I think they're onto something in the sense that the days of high offset or negative offset in general, I think those are over. I think the amount of power we have paired together with the tires we have, the sort of really round and high diameter tires we have, I think that's kind of pulled us away from those days where the tracks were rough and the tires were small and you had those pin tires and you really needed the car to be forgiving, but at the same time really push the tire to the ground and be the geometry to be aggressive. I think sort of those days are over, and this is sort of what the modern RC racer looks like. And the thing is that I find impressive is that this is a track that I thought the sort of old style would still be the best at. The sort of old HP, even the older JQ, this new or this Kyosho, all of those cars. I thought this would be the track that they would shine. But then I think this proves that maybe like we have evolved way past that. It's not only the grip level of the track, the bumpiness of the track, but also the tires we have and so on, and the power we have too. So I think even though it looks like Kyosho is behind the trend, like in a sense, it could be that they have been the ones to kind of seal the deal for, like, they actually realized that the old style didn't work anymore, whereas all of the other brands just basically copied Mugen with some grain of salt, but basically they copied Mugen. And the positive offset is just naturally faster. And I think it's interesting to see how they do at the Worlds now that the Europeans are running the MP11, because they wasn't at the Euros, they was running the MP10 still. I think this will now prove that if the Kyosho is up par as a chassis manufacturer, but I think the biggest thing so far that I've looked at Kyosho is that the rear end geometry, especially the rear end geometry, to be honest, maybe that era has kind of went away now.
Okay. I have a question while we're on geometry. So we saw Jason Snyder have the cutout of the wheels the other day. Is that what we're talking about?
Exactly, yeah. So that's it's not the whole thing. Obviously, when you do that, you adjust shock positions and the arm length and whatnot, like most brands have done. But basically, that is the most significant handling difference. It's on the Mayako, we're kind of on the edge of it. So if we go to a narrow hex, we can put it in the place where it's just about positive. And then if we go to a wide hex, it's pretty much at the negative. Or the standard is negative, that is. And then when you like pair it with the wide pivot and so on, that's when you get the corner speed. I think, yeah. I don't know if you had a question in there somewhere, but basically that's.
Well, I wanted to know what were we looking at in that, because you know I'm an idiot, right? So
so
I know that's something good.
Yeah, basically just if you think about the center line of the tire, that's where the tire pulls the wheel, or pulls the whole drivetrain back. So when you have the pin outside of the center line of the tire, when you push the throttle, it basically twists the arms and the tires and everything on the car on the rear end to have less toe in. And then when you brake, it puts it to have more toe in. And then when you have it on the inside of the center of the tire, it's the opposite. And this is sort of a very dominating effect if you imagine that when you accelerate, the majority of the weight is on the rear axle. So the rear end has a lot of force going through it. So it's a very dominant effect on the handling of the car. And the sort of old school of thought was that you could go two styles, and the two styles were somewhat equal in pace, but then different. It's just handled differently. But I think this kind of, at least to me, proves that maybe right now there's only one way to go. And I've been testing it with the Mayako recently, and I've been positively surprised that maybe it is even on the slippery finish tracks. I don't think there's ever I don't think there's even a place for the negative offset anymore.
Interesting.
Which means that the pin is inside of the center of the tire.
Okay. All right. They're onto something. Look good. That's all I know.
They're onto something. Yeah.
They're onto something. All I know is this idiot liked it. All right.
I think one thing with the car, I have to say, is the front KPI. It has a lot of it. That was the first thing when I saw it actually at the Kyosho Masters, that it has a lot of KPI in front. So I don't know.
I think Kanai said that it was like 13 or something, which is
14, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Quite low.
Yeah, I think about the KPI. I think that's the interesting part about the car.
Yeah,
because everything else, the rear end, that's pretty much like you could take the modern associated, Mugen, pretty much any car out in the market, and you could draw like a 3 millimeter box around all of the attachment points, and all of those cars would be within that range. There are differences for sure, but like there's not drastic differences. The front end is interesting about the Kyosho because they still have the high offset. So, for example, us in the Mayako, we have a very low offset, similar to that of the pivot ball cars, and even a little bit less if I'm not totally wrong. But the Kyosho still holds the high offset, which it did in the previous models. So basically, the front end, it's still more aggressive for turn in. But then it has the high KPI. So that's something we tried on the JQ, but we never really tried it with paired with that positive offset that they have now. So that's something interesting because that's something we've thought about, that maybe we have too little offset in the front. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Kyosho will do now, especially on high grip, because I think it's proven that it works on lower grip because both Fee and Ryan just jumped up another level. So it's clearly there's something that's working for them.
Yeah, for sure.
I would not argue with that. All right. Well, let's get into our final of the Nitro Buggy. So I think the biggest surprise here for me was like, okay, Lutz flamed out. I'm not surprised at that. I'm sorry, Lutz. I'm just not surprised at that. But we saw Fend just flame out, just ghost flame, going around that off-camber jump. Actually, I have it on video here.
I think it's the first lap.
Yeah, it's like the first lap. And I remember when I saw that, I was like, oh my goodness. Let's go.
I was surprised also. I was like, what?
There we go.
Yeah, he flamed out there.
So there's Fee and Fuller, and there is Fend.
Yeah, he flamed out in the off-camber, first off-camber.
And there's
lots. That guy was running down the front straight with the cars coming in.
So I talked to Ciccarello about that, and he said the car ran perfectly after that. But I was like, okay, maybe Fend's going to make a comeback and challenge and get back up there, but he just, nothing ever happened.
He flamed out in the pits also.
He did? Okay.
Yeah, he did. At least I remember that he did, because I was pitting next to them, so I think he did.
You know what was the other big deal at this race? Tires coming unglued.
Yeah, also.
The J Concepts guys had a lot of tires coming unglued at this race.
I don't know why. I didn't have that problem.
Right, huh?
I didn't have that problem.
Where did you get your J Concepts?
J Concepts.
Okay, so you got everything from there?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was people having issues with tires coming unglued. I think even Fee had tires come unglued.
Yeah, I think so. But he flamed out first.
Yeah.
Would it be... Is this close to the coast?
No.
Okay, then it's interesting. Because usually when it's like hot and humid, that's when was she running blue?
No, it was hot and humid.
Was she running blue compound or
I think
aqua?
they were running blue or green. Blue or green.
Yeah, because I think especially the blue, I remember when I ran J Concepts, for some reason when it's hot and humid, it just doesn't like to stick. But you dremeled yours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. When you don't Dremel them, that's what happens. It comes unglued.
I think I
so
did.
when it's hot, when it's hot and humid, that's the only way I got them to stick. Especially northern Italy is the worst, or Philippines was the worst, but northern Italy was the second worst for me. Just like really difficult. And then I tried everything, and Dremel and isopropyl alcohol. That's how you got them to stick.
Okay. So that's what the guys are going to have to do next time. So Fee, I'm trying to find where he flames out here. It looks like he flames out. He was in first up until lap number 25, he dropped down to 4th. And then did he flame out in track? I can't remember.
No,
Did he
pit
flame out?
lane. Pit lane.
Okay. Yes, I remember now. He dropped all the way down to 13th. That's him out. Fuller takes over the lead on lap number 25, and he made it a boring race. Like nobody was going to touch Fuller. He bounces back after a very subpar nationals a month before this. So Fuller gets his second big win in Nitro Buggy, which I was happy about. Jonah Wilson finished 6.7. Great finish for Jonah Wilson as well. But Chase Lemieux from 13th on the grid to 3rd. That's good. Dude, Chase Lemieux is a good damn driver. Period. He's 10 scale, doesn't race much 8 scale. He had a good nationals. He's had a good wicked weekend. Dude, he's the truth. I like Chase. He's good. Very good. Camden Lime for solid top 5 and 4th. Jared Wiggins, top techno driver in 5th. Brandon Rose, 3rd. Probably Brandon Rose should be winning these, or at least top 3. So probably not. This is not a good result for him. Lee Setzer, 7th. That's okay.
I think Lee blew it out in the last laps.
Could have. Let's see.
I think he was running podium or fake podium.
He was he made up to 3rd.
Yeah.
He made up to 3rd, and he was 5th up until lap 49.
Yeah.
Ryan Cavallari. Dude, Cav coming from that B-main bump up to finish 8th. Showing that he says, excuse me?
I think it was the pit guy.
It's always going to be the pit guy when you do the pitting, right? That's another. Don't let me forget about that, because pitting costs a lot of time for lots of drivers in this race.
Oh yeah, like fee.
Yes,
that's a good example.
Ryan Cavallari, Fee Long ended up finishing 9th. Tater Sontag 10th. Ryan Lutz 11th. Tebow 12th. Spencer Hackett 13th. Julian Oliveras, Joey Bourdon, Fend, wait on the 16th. Fend just not able to come back from that. And then we had Mayfield retiring early after just 15 minutes. So a very different race from what we're used to.
Yeah. You know what happened once in the pit lane? Cav was just coming in, and Mayfield pulled off, and he was going wrong way to pit lane. And I was like already waiting for Cav to come in, and I see Mayfield going wrong way in the pits. I was like, what the fuck is happening here? That was
Dude.
I was like, what?
People, look, pitting is becoming very, very important. So this caused in intermediate, the young girl, Maddie Long, she was in the lead. And they were using a fuel bottle. And they say they use a fuel bottle because the gun or the fuel gun flames them out. Well, they flamed out doing this too. Schufelt, I think, was in a bump position or something in one of his races. Maybe it was in Truggy. He's in the top 3. Fucking slow ass pit. Lots of slow pits, dude. Slow pits. Dude, these races are being decided on pit lane now.
Yeah. You know what? The thing what happened to Fee is that his dad overflowed it. But I think he would have got out from this situation if he would have gassed it in the pits. And I don't really understand this thing that everybody is saying that you cannot gas when you are in the pits. You just need to let it idle. So many guys are saying that. And in my opinion, I have never ever, probably now when I say the next race, I will flame out in the pits, but I have never ever flamed out in the pits. And I always give it a little gas. Because the thing is that when you give it a little gas, it will clear out, even though it will, like, if someone will splash the fuel all over the pipe or something.
You mean while you're pitting? While they're
while you are pitting, yeah. Like all the time when the car is up, you're throttling a bit. Because when you let it down to idle, and then someone like makes a mistake with the fuel gun and the car just overflows with the fuel, it will cool down everything and it just will shut off. And that's exactly what happened to Fee. He was idling the car in the pits, then his dad threw it out, and it's just bow, and then
well, I probably didn't give him enough time to clear it out either.
No.
Right? I think I remember this now.
No, yeah, but the thing is that you need to throttle when the car is
I don't know. I don't know who came up with this thing. I remember people telling me too that you have to idle it while pitting. But the thing is that I've especially when it's hot and like when the fuel goes in, the engine bugs. Sometimes I just go like half throttle, whole pit stop.
Yeah.
It fills the tank full. Nothing happens. Like it
nothing
just keeps
happens
the car running.
Flame out.
Like,
and the thing is that also, like, if you're idling the car, not throttling, and what if the guy who is refilling, he doesn't get the stick in first time, and it will take like extra second, the idle will go so down that it will just shut off in the pits.
Yeah. And also one thing is that people come in and they brake and then they don't power after that. Like imagine if you just was running a race and brake at the end of the straightaway and just held it there and then opened the tank, you would always flame out.
Yeah,
That's basically what
exactly.
you're doing in the pits.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I think like most of these guys, like I remember back in the day when like Novorossi and Reds, they had issues with always flaming out in the pits. I've seen Robert Battier come in the pits and keep it pinned. Like the whole pit stop basically, just to keep the thing running, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And like also one thing with Fi's dad, he said after the race that the fuel gun he has, it's not filling up all the way. So he said he needs to keep it a bit like sideways, like bit on an angle. That's what Lutz said to him. So when he was having it on an angle, he made a slight mistake and it's just spitting all over. And that's what caused the flame out. And you know what? Who was the guy who was helping? I don't want to take any credit, but I was the Mr. Nice Guy. I was at the end of the pit lane. I saw his car just bugging down in front of me, and then he flamed out, and I just grabbed the car and just ran it back to the dad.
I remember that. I'm trying to find
I probably would have done that if he wouldn't have said sorry. So that's what you get when you say sorry.
So I just want to clarify this. So what you're saying is that when they come, obviously not keeping the car full chat, but keeping like a bit of throttle going where you haven't. It's not like it's more. It's like that. That's what you're trying to say.
I usually
just flip it a little.
like trying not like because that can kill the plug if you go full pin.
Yeah. No, not full pin, but just like a steady throttle.
Yeah.
No, you do like this, because then when you don't have the response, then you know it's bugging, so then you go more.
Yeah,
you know, if you just keep like this, then you don't know what happened. But if you do like little bit of this, like you hold it there around and whip it, and then when it goes down, you know that now you have to press more.
Okay,
especially with the headset, it's good because you can hear it from.
And also, like the thing is, in US, the pit lanes are more simple. Okay, you don't have a turn after the pit lane or something.
Yeah,
because in Europe it can be that you have a turn, so you need to really brake after the pit lane, and you can flame out there also if the engine is not clear enough.
Yeah, because it's a straight blow usually at a lot of these races.
Yeah, in US it's just punch it out.
Interesting stuff. All right, let's get back to some of the topics here about this. So, Max, you have it here. The new guard comes through. Is this coming through? Is this Fuller's second big win of the year? But now we're coming out of a year where we've seen. We're coming out of years where we've seen a Fend and Mayfield dominance. Okay, there have been a few people that have interrupted that. I know I've said this before. There's a few people have been Ty Tessman. There have been Brandon Rose at SIC, Ty Tessman at PMB. And then most recently, we saw Fuller at Silver State, right? But here we go in here. We see Fend has some issues. Mayfield has some issues. And then Fuller's here to capitalize on it. Now, Fuller's been plenty times a bridesmaid, never really a bride. Wilson having a good run. Lemieux having a good run. I think it's great. I love seeing new people up there. Okay, Fuller's not new, but you know what I mean. Wilson having a good run. I think he's the best driver coming out of the East Coast right now. Lemieux, 10-scale driver up there in Wisconsin, doesn't get to run a lot of 8-scale, still doing quite well. And just even Lime, Lime getting a 4th, that's great for him. Young kid up there running good. I think the only thing that would have, I'm sure Wiggins is happy to get a 5th, but I think the only person that would have completed the new guard would have been Rose, probably in 5th. If that would have been all 3 of those guys, all 5 of those guys, it would have been pretty awesome. Well, I guess you wrote it down, Max. Let's hear what you think about this.
Yeah, it's I think Fuller did what he should have. Maybe that's the way to put it.
Okay.
Fuller did what he should have in this situation. When you look at all these guys retiring, this is where he should be. Like when everyone else retires and he doesn't, he should win 100% of the races. He should not lose to Wilson on the track ever, unless Wilson was having the weekend of his life. Maybe in a few years if Wilson gets on another level, but yeah, that's not the point. Like right now, this is where he should be. When Fenn and Mayfield, and in this case Fee is not in the picture, he is the one who should win. Would he have won if any of those other 3 would have had a issue-free main? Hard to say. He was good in the qualifiers. He was fast in the qualifiers. This was the best race in Silver State for him. If I don't forget some other race, I think this was the best race since Silver State. So I'd say I take this as a win. He qualified second, and he took a TQ. So like we don't know what would have happened. He did look much faster than him, in my opinion. But this was like his really breakout weekend. What comes to the other guys, Wilson and Lemieux, I think Lemieux is driving at the better level than he should drive. You know, considering his position within X-Ray, considering that it's a 10 scale world's year, considering that he's a 10 scale guy, these results that he's having consistently, seeming like in 8 scale, he's driving sort of better than what anyone would expect from him. From Wilson, I think like when he joined Sparko, I was a bit worried. I was like, okay, it's gonna be a rough year for him. He was part of a big team. They probably helped him a lot with setup. He had a lot of people to reference off of. But it seems like this was the perfect move for him. Right now, he's at the best sort of point of his career he's ever been. And right now, if he went back to AE, now they would actually probably be willing to pay for him with results like this, which is the craziest part, that basically just this 1 year has done like a big improvement to his career. Like you said, Rose should be higher than 6th. Lyman Wiggins in 4th and 5th, they just kind of rode their main, didn't have any mistakes. I think this is kind of where they are in the big picture. And with Lutz, like you said, Flameout was not a surprise. With Fee, I think they're both, like, Fee is really young. I think his dad has never really been at this level before. They really desperately need more help. Like, if you think any of these guys, like Mayfield has true heat hitting for him most of the time. Bend has a racer that's been racing for his, I can't remember his name now. Cole or something. What's his name?
He's got Dylan Nelson.
Oh, Dylan Nelson. Yeah. So he's been racing for his whole life at a decent level at that. He's been with Fenn for a few years now. And Fenn's got his program down. Paul is with him. Paul Chigarello is with Fenn. And yeah, it's like all of these top guys have a big team. And they have that one guy who knows their shit. Fee, it's just him and his dad. Neither of them are experts at anything in RC. Like, that's just how it is, you know. His dad, he's learning as they go. He's not been a pro racer. He's not been like at that level ever before. And similar thing with the Fullers. Like, if we really think about it, it's kind of like one dad, 2 kids. Like something has to give, and I think that's unfortunately, I'm not nothing like against their dads. Like they're doing their best, no doubt. But like, not even Canas, not even Ongaro, they don't have their dads bidding for them. Yes, they help, but they're
Yes,
not the
they
number
don't,
one
but they have
guy.
help. They have help.
Yeah, like Ongaro's dad is not his number one pitman. Canas's dad is not his number one pitman. Even Ronnefolk's dad is not his number one pitman. Who do they have pitting for them? Guys who have raced at that level before, guys who have been pitting for ages before that, or just people who have really been practicing that specifically, not racing a child or whatever. And I think for Fee and Fuller, that's something to consider at this point. And I think now it's working good for Fuller, but with Fee, I think, yeah, I think this is a great showing that, you can't do it all alone at this level for at least not that long. True, he's a real professional, um, being that for ages. And it shows.
I actually have the same sentiments about that. And you know who I just realized who would be a great addition to Fee's team? Would be your RC dad, Barry Baker.
Barry Baker? Yeah, but he lives in the wrong place.
I understand, but in a perfect world,
Yeah,
that's the type of person that would bring. And this is no offense to Fee's dad. I get what they're doing. They're out there trying to do this, but I exactly get what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
But a person like Barry Baker is the type of person that I think can elevate his career to that next level. And Kyosho really has to look into something like that for him at some point. I know there's probably no budget for that or anything similar to that, but it's no deny. You can't deny. Look, Fenn's been an awesome driver his whole career, but he started really getting these victories and getting that 8-scale race craft when Barry was in his corner. And yes, Fenn still had to drive it, and Fenn had to do all that type of stuff. But I think Barry was a great influence on Fenn's career at that point when he came in. And I think having somebody similar to a Barry in Fee's corner would help him out a lot. And I would have to agree with that because he should have won this race. He really should have. He should have.
Yeah. Yeah, but other than that, I think it's a positive showing for all of these guys, except for obviously like Fender Mayfield, who had a terrible weekend. Well, Mayfield won E-Buggy, but talking about Nitro Buggy specifically, both of them had a tough time. All the other guys can go home somewhat happy. Like Fee, like what a performance, what the speed he showed, all of that stuff. And the thing with Fee is kind of like they've got time on their side. Like as long as they stay interested, it doesn't really matter. With Fuller, he's kind of like now is the times to make those big results, and he's doing it. So he's going home happy. So all in all, a pretty positive weekend for a lot of these guys.
I would have to agree. Pekko, final thoughts on the Nitro final, and then we'll move on to a few more points.
I think we covered all.
I wanted to mention that there wasn't a complete loss for Dakotah Fend because he did win Nitro Truggy. Brandon Reyes came second. Jared Tebow, who's semi-retired, also came third.
I didn't even look at the results.
Because you're such a Truggy hater. You're such a Truggy hater.
Dude, I drove the Mayaka Truggy in Estonia. And it was actually pretty good. Much better than that Associated I drove for 1.5 laps at PNB.
Well, that was a very long time ago.
Yeah.
We had Lemieux running off the top 5. Lee Setzer, Ryan Lutz, Cole Ogden, Ryan Mayfield, Jared Wiggins, Mason Fuller not having a good one. Douglas Schufelt. I'm very impressed with Schufelt. But as I said, needs to get to more races. And
yeah, like who I want to ask, because I have no idea who this guy is. I've heard the first time I've heard of him was when I was going through the results, and we've talked about him like 3 times already on this podcast. So how old is he? What does he drive? Who is this guy?
He's a techno driver. I don't know his age. Early 20s, maybe your age-ish. It might be a little bit too late for him.
Driving techno?
Yeah.
You sure about that?
I will check. Let's go look
I
on
think
his
he was driving TLR.
I don't
Really?
I think so.
He's one of the TLR.
Calm
Wow,
down.
that would be.
Calm down.
Can we get him on the podcast?
He is a techno driver.
He's a techno driver?
He is a techno. Of course, we should get him on the podcast. I'm sure all of Canada would love to have.
You should get him on the podcast because, like, I don't. When was the last time a Canadian made a big A main? Probably Sousa. Maybe not even Sousa. Maybe Tessman.
Tessman, I would say.
And before Tessman, I think nobody. Was there any good Canadians in the 2000s?
I am not that familiar with Canadian RC history. And I want to shout out to the intermediate Nitro Buggy A-Main finals. You had Colton Fornari, a young racer racing. Trent Walker coming second. Well done to him. Ada Ridgway, a Sparko driver. Dylan Raposo, a Canadian, doing well. Maddie Long, this young lady is very impressive. She finished 5th and probably should have. She was on fire. Dude, she was good. She's a good racer, man. Good racer. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this part of the Wicked Weekend because I know a lot of these intermediate and sportsman drivers. It was good. Not to leave sportsman out. I'm gonna go look at the sportsman Nitro Buggy class.
Hey, sportsmen are there to have fun, not to get mentioned on the podcast, because we want people who win to move up to intermediate, and the people who have fun to stay.
Well, we have to mention somebody here.
But mention the guy who was 5th.
No, we're gonna mention young Philo Hatch the 5th.
Okay, youngsters.
This young kid, to put in perspective, a couple years ago made his first Wicked Weekend. Came to his first Wicked Weekend and couldn't do a lap. Almost finished dead last. 3rd, Sportsman Nitro Buggy, made a lot of podiums. So he gets a little big shout out, and he's young, maybe 9 years old, and awesome.
Well, that's a feel good story.
That is very good. I think he won. I actually think he won a race too. Let me bring it up. He might have won Truggy, or he had to win. So, but well done. He's the 5th iterations of the Philos.
Imagine being the 5th of something.
He won E-Buggy.
V5, version 5.
That's what he is, version 5. Or they call him 5. That's what they call him.
Yeah.
He's an awesome young man. I like him. And we got to encourage these young racers to race and keep on racing.
He's a sport boy, not a sport man yet.
All right. Wicked Weekend in the books. Pekko, you had some other thoughts about the race? I know you had some thoughts.
Yes. This is the rant side of the Wicked Weekend. Okay. This was the first race. Something? Yeah. This was the first race I went where there was a free practice. I have one word to describe it. Oh, actually 2 words. I hate it. It's terrible.
That's 3 words.
So I don't care. It's so bad. I don't like it at all. Let me I have been thinking after the race, what would be the best solution for this thing? The thing is that for a normal guy, for a guy who is running sportsman intermediate, it's good for them because they need the track time. They can go drive, marshal, and back to the line and repeat that whole day if they want to. So they get the track time what they need. For a pro guy, he does a 5-minute run and he should be dialed with the track. Then it's about the car. And then what? You drive a 5-minute run, marshal, and go wrench your car. And then you will wrenching. It depends. If your car is dialed, then you're a winner. But if it's not dialed, you will be wrenching for an hour maybe. And then you go back to the line, wait 20 minutes or probably more, and then drive and then marshal and do the same again. And then you have multiple classes. You have Truggy and E-Buggy and Nitro, what most of the guys ran. So you have 3 cars that you need to test in this one day basically. Because we had there was possibilities for 2 A and B practice. And I think A practice was the whole day on Thursday, and then the B practice was the evening, like 2 hours, and then the morning of Friday before qualifying. So I would say the best would be to separate pros and intermediate and sportsman drivers. Because the problem is that when you are running these free practices, you don't really see your pace because you're not running with the same guys that you would be running in qualifiers. Basically, the first time when we were running with those guys in pro class was the first qualifier, which is a bit stupid, I would say. And the thing is that you really cannot compare your pace because you don't know, did you get the good lap? Because there can be an E-truggy. Like in the practice, I got T-boned in the middle of the air by an E-truck. Destroyed my whole body. I was a bit annoyed about that. But nothing against E-trucks, but they are quite big compared to buggies. So driving with those, it's not that fun. And I think the best thing for this would be that we would have certain times, like let's say 10 o'clock, we run a Nitro, 2 rounds of Pro Nitro, because we had to run like 2 groups. So 2 rounds Pro Nitro, then like 2 hours later, 2 rounds for E-Buggy, and then again for Nitro Track. And probably you could get like 2 full rounds in where you get like, how many is that? 6 5-minute runs, and maybe even 1 more in the next morning. So that would be like plenty of track time. That's basically the same I did in the whole practice at weekend. And that would be more valuable time on the track. And then between those races, you can have everyone else driving the same like free practice. The thing for the pros would take only 12 minutes slot, I would say, because it's like 5-minute run with the change. So it's like 12 minutes. I think that would be the best solution for that, because I feel like the people who are running those sportsman and intermediate, they really like the free practice because they can do how much they want. But for a pro guy, that's really not the case.
So I would have to agree with you. So Lance has a thing where he's done block practice, and he split it up. Like intermediate has their own block time, sportsman has a time where they go do it, intermediate has a time where they go, and then pro has a time where only those groups and only those people in that.
But the problem also
you want to define it even more and put it into
because then there can be like someone driving trucky and you are driving buggy.
Yeah,
the best thing would be that you can compare the pace and be like, oh, I'm like, this race, you never see how much, like, are you going super fast or are you a bit slow? Like, how is the pace really? Because then you need to go through fucking 500 transponder in live RC and figure out who is who, basically.
But the thing is, what makes this race so popular is the open practice. But it can be
exactly what I said.
Mm-hmm.
The guys who are running the other classes can run the open practice. I'm for sure every pro would agree with me that they would like to have a controlled practice for the pros.
Could be. Yeah. That would probably be the best way to do it, to be honest.
Yeah, and imagine
I might be onto something.
Yeah, but this is what I've been saying since 2018 when I went to 2019 when I went to PMB.
Yeah.
But what JQ said the first time he went as well. But I think the best way to go about it is, imagine this: you have pro practice, you have it, let's say 2 runs of a Nitro Buggy, 2 runs of E-Buggy, 2 runs of Truggy and E-Truggy, whichever you want. You have like 2 runs of each at a set time. And then imagine you're a media company. You can allocate like a time for the media people to say, hey, after you're done this practice, you are to be allocated at the media place. And if you don't allocate at the media place, then you can't partake in practice, you know? So it's like a trade-off. But the drivers have to take their part so they cannot skip it. And then you can practice. You have this premium practice because you can practice with only your peers. And what would that change? That would maybe take 8 slots away from the rest of the people of the available. I don't even know how many slots there is. It's 5-minute runs of like the whole day. So it's not taken away from anyone else, and it's giving much more value to the pros, and it's giving a possibility for the media people to get all the pros to the same place at the same time before the event.
Yeah,
Like it's so easy to do. It doesn't take any effort.
And one more thing, it would be nice for also the intermediate and sportsman guys to watch the pros, watch the lines and everything.
I agree with everything you fundamentally just said, both of you. But you know what the first thing that's going to be said if that happens? The pros get preferred treatment. Trust me.
Yeah, but the thing about the pros is that's why they have to pay for their premium treatment by attending the media thing, and they're forced to be at the media thing. They cannot skip it. If they skip it, they cannot practice or whatever. So that's how you make it fair. And on top of this, who are the people who skip the line the most? The pros, because they have someone else waiting for them in the line.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
that's also another thing. If you don't have anyone, if you're just alone there by yourself, you really lose many spots.
Yeah,
really.
So instead of Drake having his friends waiting in the line for him, he doesn't have to wait in the line at all because he have a predetermined slot at the pro one, And this cuts away so much. Like Tebow talked about it being unfair.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Everyone's saying that it's.
You know what's going to happen is that everybody's going to want that.
Yeah,
but then we can just run a normal race.
Yeah.
Exactly. But then it's going to take. The thing is, then people are going to complain about that.
Yeah.
The RC racer is our biggest worst enemy, man. We don't.
Yeah, but let's at least make it economically viable in the long term.
I agree with
RC
you. I would
media content worthwhile.
I 100% agree with you on that practice schedule. I think it would be great, but I know what's going to come. I know 100% what's going to come after that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, people complain now. Now it's just easy because you can say it's like we cannot change it, blah blah blah.
Well, you're talking about you're also talking about people that actually pay and make this happen.
Like the sportsmen.
The sportsmen and intermediate drivers are the people that pay.
Yeah, but I mean,
and make this happen.
But they can decide
more
if they. Yeah, they can go to AMS or they can go to Wicked Weekend, and they still choose to go to Wicked Weekend for the open practice. And this doesn't change much. Like the pros, it doesn't take anything away from that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm telling you.
Sure, you have to get through to some thick people, but it's worth the effort.
It would be ideal and it has very much positives. One, you can go out and watch them run. You can chill out for that 2 hours that you're not going to be running. But I guarantee you 100% there will be complaints. And that's probably why it hasn't been done already.
But I mean, I bet there's people who complain that they won the lottery. Like, I just won 150 million, but I have to pay 20% of this in taxes. Like, oh my God, it's just horrible. Like, how could I be so unlucky?
I look, man, I'm just telling you, the psyche of an RC racer. I already came under fire this week for all my mainstream stuff and all. I didn't even want to get into that this week. Once again, we have gone way over schedule. I do want to talk. Are we going to do the most triggered comment and how we are blamed for the downfall of TLR?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's just do it.
That will tie in really well to that. People don't know what's best for them.
Well, you know what? First, we have to talk about some upcoming races real quick, and that is brought to you by Techno RC.
Techno RC. Techno RC is a championship-winning manufacturer of high-performance A-scale, 10-scale, nitro, and electric RC buggies and trucks. With a worldwide dealer network, USA and Europe-based headquarters, comprehensive warranty program, and global race support, Techno RC is excellence in RC. View the full lineup of Techno RC race-proven vehicles by visiting www.technorc.com.
All right. Thank you, Techno RC, for all your continued support. First up, we have Mugen Challenge coming up this weekend at the LCRC Raceway, which is always a good race. Then we have the IFMAR 1/8 scale electric off-road worlds coming up, which Max and myself will be at, as well as Pekko, but he'll be participating. That starts August 26th to 30th. Barcelos, Portugal. Big shout out to all the sponsors that came on board to support. It's going to be pure NNRC content, so that's going to be good. I didn't realize that the B Euros didn't happen already, but we're going to have the EFRA 8 scale Nitro off-road B Euros, great conception, happening September 12th to 14th at the OSPI team in Gusago. We also have a big Canadian race going on as well, and that is going to take place at, I just had it here, we do have the Georgia Peach State Classic coming up. We have the Fall Classic at Steeler Park 8 scale off-road track in September 5th to 7th in Ontario, Canada, in Springwater, Ontario, Canada. And they have a whole bunch of cool things, live music, a prime rib dinner for racers. Ooh, that's nice. Buffet dinner. They're going all out. I actually believe this is a indoor-outdoor track as well. They have an indoor and outdoor facility. We have the Georgia Peach State Classic, which is actually shaping up to be very good. Mayfield's going. Fuller's, Mayfield's going. There's a couple of top guys going there. Beautiful place. I love it up there in Tiger, Georgia. That's September 26th to 28th. We have the IFMAR 10 scale off-road world championships coming up. That's probably the big race. September 29th to October 9th. Hills off-road. Before, I am not actually going to the Peach State race. I am coming in to do the Shaw's Off-Road Truck Nationals, which is like a RC festival type of thing. Then I go to the INS Finals. Another thing that was announced is this vintage race that Associated 71, Kurt Busch, is going to be a part of it. He's a former NASCAR driver and champion. I believe he's a champion. Kyle Busch is his brother. He's been racing a lot of 8 scale, a lot of 10 scale. So this vintage race looks actually pretty good. They actually did an interview with Masami Hirosaka the other day. Associated did with Richard Saxon, and them was pretty good. I was watching that. INS Finals, same weekend, unfortunately, at Hoosier Hobbyplex. Masters of Dirt is before that. I'm also going to that. That's going to be at Action. Masters of Dirt is after, INS Finals. I'll be going to that. We have the Oktoberfest coming up at the Nitro compound. We're going to go see that track because it's in Arizona as well. Then we have, of course, the last really big 8 scale race of the year, AMS, which Pekko isn't coming to now. He's going to China instead. And then, of course, we have the Carpet World Championships, which I call it, which is the Carpet Championships. And I think the last big 8 scale under a roof race of the year will be Fall Brawl in December. All right. So, you know what? It's that time of the day. We're going to go to a rant. And that's always brought to you by JQ Racing Rant.
We are now at that point of the show where you should fasten those seatbelts and put your big boy pants on. Whoa. Things are about to get serious. It's time for the JQ Racing Rant.
All right, we are back for the JQ Racing Rant, and we're going to keep it short. Actually, we forgot to talk about a couple of things. We forgot to talk about, is it finally over for HB? I mean, we've seen a lot of people jumping ship from HB. Jessica Paulson started it. We saw, who else announced? Like a lot of people that I know that have ran HB for a long time.
Oh, Theo Lemaire.
Yeah.
Theo Lemaire, but
Is Majubi still running HB?
I think he's still running HB.
I think Majubi is the last man standing.
Well, in Europe, and there was a whole bunch of stalwarts that I knew in the USA. Not top tier drivers, but drivers that have run HB for a long time. Even the one guy, I was surprised, he messaged me and they said that the HB website is done. You talk to some of these HB guys, they're like, oh, but big news is coming, and this person that we heard that some rich guys bought it, and this and that. I don't know what's going to happen with HB. They're talking about a new car coming out this way, that way. I mean, does it matter?
They said they was going to release 2 cars. One would be the world spec and one would be the old car. and they would have some updated parts, and then it would be interchangeable. Like, I think they're not gonna go away. I mean, someone's gonna buy it and try to sell it, but it's going to become one of these more obscure brands. Like it's gonna be like well, maybe like a WIRC,
I
maybe
think
like
they'll be more popular.
probably at this point WIRC is more popular because they're trying to push. But what would be like a more obscure one? They're
Hong Nor?
releasing,
Dude.
yeah, but I think
Wow.
I think yeah, Hongnor and Habao are the thing with those are that everybody thinks that they are shit, but people still have the image of HP, but it's still gonna be more obscure.
Do you know Chad Bradley was running a Hong Nor here recently? I think
Yeah, I
A-Main
saw.
and
The new Hongnor is actually really close to the old HP, but it has some new cool bits.
and then there's a group of guys running Habao cars in America. Oh,
Yeah.
up there in the Pacific Northwest.
Caster has some following.
I don't know I think HB will be a shadow of what it once was. It's nothing wrong with saying that. And now I'm seeing all these people just like leaving the car officially, and I don't know what's going on, but there's some people still holding on, and if they like the car, that's fine. They can do it. But I can't see, I don't know, unless they go out there and pump a lot of money into it in an already flooded industry full of chassis. I don't see nothing really spectacular happening with it at this point. So, but you know what? We'll get blamed just like we're getting blamed in this week's most triggered comment. I'm not going to say names, but this is from a TLR driver, and I'm trying to leave TLR out of my mouth because then people will say we just talk about it. So this started with my recent Ryan Harris podcast, and I asked him about his thoughts about TLR because he was running the car exclusively and he was a big TLR supporter, right? And obviously he isn't now. So this led to some triggered comments by some TLR guys that I read to you earlier, and I'm going to find them right here. So let's start off. We'll start off with this because I didn't realize that we were the reason why that this all stopped, right? But apparently in some people's minds, or one person's mind, they are. I'm not going to say his name. I should bring up the comments. That's why talking shit about brands in this tiny RC world we live in ain't a good look. Okay. This person also used to message me on the regular complaining. I'm glad he stopped. Yes, they can't keep the brand out of their mouths. This channel has bashed the brand for years, going out of their way to get people to buy brands that they support. Whenever this guy complains, I will also add that this guy also always gives a frowny face on any post that he doesn't like. This is fucking special, man. This is RC. And then I think on a reel, he's talking to the reel. No, you don't. You really don't. RC racing don't have the views to bring in outsiders. It's watched by RC racers. I think we was talking about if it could go mainstream. Plus, all the hate that this channel has instigated against the brand over the years didn't help anything but views for this channel. So in this guy's brain, we're part of the reason why TLR isn't here anymore.
Have you thought about it?
I'm gonna say this: we are equal brand shit talkers. If any brand should be mad at the NNRC, it should be fucking Techno, because the amount of shit that you've talked and JQ's talked about Techno should, they should hate us. Shit, we even talked shit about the Mayako brand at one point. So no, we're not fucking singling out TLR, but we can't help it when you do things that are factual, like disband the whole fucking pro RC team. They did that. That's nothing that's a lie. That's what happened. I'm sorry, TLR driver that gets upset at the NNRC. I'm sorry that TLR isn't what you remember, or what you remember what it was 20, 30 years ago. But that's just how it is. Like, it's nothing wrong to say that they sold out and got rid of their pro team, because it actually fucking happened. And at the end of the day, when you think about it, they actually fucking fired guys that worked for them for a long time. Imagine if that would have happened in the real world, how much shit you would have cost and how much shit you would have kicked. Just imagine you're working for a company for fucking 20 years about to have a kid, and hey, sorry, not signing you next year because we just don't believe in the protein.
Oh, they gave him a new contract. He got free stuff.
Yeah, he could get. Imagine that. Hey, so continue to do your job, but do it for free. Come on. So we caused all of that in this guy's brain. No, we have equally talked shit about lots of different brands.
Yeah.
I have a good thing for it.
There's been times that I thought that, Techno is not going to continue supporting us the following year. And they fucking kept supporting us the following year.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with most brands is they take the heat and they work on their stuff and they get better. And Techno has done that. They have Ryan Mayfield, they're national champions, blah, 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 blah. They have all those things. ELR, they got critique from people. They got critique from us. And they just made it worse. And then they're like, it's because of all the negativity that TLR's gone. No, it's because they didn't have fucking front arms for a year and a half. Like, how are you going to sell cars if you cannot fucking replace a front arm?
It's our fault, Max. It's our fault for talking shit about them. We have been pushing people to buy the brands that support us and away from TLR. It's completely our fault.
What a crime that is. People who pay to advertise on our podcast, we push their products.
Oh my God.
Unheard of? What?
You know what? This guy has the most trigger. I hope he continues. I'm not saying his name. He knows who he is. I'm glad he stopped messaging me with the bullshit he used to talk. He used to get so upset. He used to get mad at you a lot.
Me?
Yes. Dude, you piss off so many people you just don't know.
Yeah.
That's all right. I piss off people too, especially in Australia.
There was this one carpenter in the Middle East around 2,000 years ago. And he used to piss people off. He pissed people off so much they actually ended up killing him. But he was right all along. So I kind of think of myself as that guy,
Jesus Christmas. Pekko, you had something to say.
Oh, that's the guy.
Yeah.
That's the
I
guy.
have
You know him. Jesus? That's the name.
Oh my God. But yeah, I have a good thing for the mainstream thing and like bringing outsiders to RC. Because like, I think, we don't have any outsiders at this point. Like, you think there is someone? No, I don't think so. So
very few.
Yeah.
Very, very few.
If there is, very few. But there are actually a funny story about like just RC racing generally. We were at the E-Buggy Euros and there was one guy with the Finnish guys. He was just a friend of the one guy and he never saw RC racing before. And he came to the track. He was like, oh, you're racing these toy cars and watching around a bit. And then he watched the racing. And he was like, this is so much better to watch than any other motorsport. And he's like big fan of every motorsport. Like he was watching in the pits. He was watching rally, drifting, and the RC racing from the race he was sitting. So he really liked it at the end of the day. Like RC racing is actually good racing. And for a viewer, it's super nice. Like, if you think about rally, you cannot see the whole track. In RC, you can see the whole track when you're watching them.
In that sense. Now, so that was a whole nother can of worms that I opened up last week, right? And I knew that NNRC, here's my next rant. Everybody that says we only focus on the fucking drama. Right?
Yes, you do.
Well, do we make the drama?
You make it worse.
Okay. Hey, let me tell you something. Drama's just a part of everyday life, right? Drama's a part of motorsports. It's stuff like that. In order for RC to change, the drama has to be accepted. It has been accepted.
Right.
But here's the killer. Fucking people like it. Because let me tell you, that podcast with Ryan Stiles Harris was a good podcast and it had some drama. We talked about mainstream and all that type of stuff. But there's a fucking Davide Ongaro podcast that I think is fucking excellent, right? That came out after this. It's great. It's probably his best English podcast out there. This man's a 4-time champion. And guess what? It does not have, and it's positive. And the one negative thing people in there was still that these fucking old school American guys still think he's running a fucking gyro, right? And that's the only fucking video that got any movement or any traction was when that guy started talking about him running a gyro. So you know what? You guys obviously like the drama because you comment on that stuff. And when you comment on that stuff, you get all the fucking notifications that go with it. But yet we do something good, which was a good interview with Davide Angaro, and look what happens. This man hasn't given really any good English interviews. This is the first one. And guess what? The fucking views on it are nowhere near as much as some of the other stuff that I've done. Right? Yeah. And also, if you come to me with the argument about mainstream and the first thing you say is TV, I'm not even going to argue with you. I'm not even going to debate with you. Because if you fucking think TV is something significant nowadays, then we're already on a different level. Right? And when I say mainstream, I'm not talking about streaming fucking 12-hour race to mainstream. I'm talking about things like the 5150 Come Drive With Us documentaries that are good. I'm talking about like the RCGP docuseries. We have that content there. That content there is good enough to get people to know what RC is. People just don't know. I can't tell you, when I travel, I always have my podcast shirt on, or whenever we're out maybe eating dinner somewhere, a group of us, and we got our RC shirts on, people are like, what are you doing? What's this? And in that, the fucking race is going on around the corner and people don't even know what's going on, right? Exactly. People just do not, we think that RC is big because it's our world, right? It's my world. That's all I care about mostly in the world nowadays. But realistically, at the grand scheme of things, the regular world does not know what we're doing. So no, I'm under no fucking assumption that RC is going to be on ESPN or going to be something that every regular person does. But what we sure can do is get more exposure. And when you look at shows like Driven, what it did for Formula One, people can't go race Formula One. But what Driven did on Netflix was get more fans watching Formula One and more into Formula One. And what did it focus on? It focused on the drama. It focused on the issues, because that's what gets people sucked in. That's what gets people. You have to build storylines behind people. Now, I give a lot of credit to Live RC for getting the Visions race on Amazon and all this type of stuff. That's great. That's showcasing what we're doing, just a race, but there has to be storylines. There has to be something that gets people excited. Look, I don't think we're going to have millions of people getting into RC racing. No way. But right now, 1,000 people getting into RC racing, strictly RC racing around the world right now, would make a difference in the industry. We have to show people what we're doing, right? I'm not saying this because and you know what? And then there were the people that complained about it's going to make RC worse. Like, I don't see how having more people attending club races, more people buying cars, more people, all that type of stuff makes things worse. I saw some points like one guy's like, well, paintball got really big, and then when it died, people will buy it, all the shops closed and all this type of stuff. Well, I mean, I'm not talking about that level. I'm just talking about at least we can get on Netflix most obscure fucking sports. Like, I didn't know that there were speed Rubik's Cube competitions. Did you?
I knew.
I do.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah. But I think the point here is that people kind of don't understand what is mainstream these days.
That too.
They kind of expect that, the highlight of some kind of social or like media world is being mentioned on the local news or something. That's like the highest it gets, and then after that it's like ESPN, and that's like the goal. No, that's not the goal. The goal is to have an active following fan base that watches you and is interested in you, especially people who don't race RC but watch RC, like people like that. And I think that's possible to some extent, at least to an extent where it can sustain itself. Maybe not bring in money to others, but at least it can sustain the pro racing. Because right now, you, the person who buys that associated car from the associated web shop, you're essentially paying Spencer Rivkin's salary, and that's kind of like the issue here, that Spencer Rivkin is advertising that car directly to you, so you would buy it and pay his salary. So that's basically the model here. The model is not that we bringing money from outside that pays Spencer Rivkin's salary, basically. And then on top of it, you buy his car, Like imagine if like Jet Lawrence and these guys, if their only function was to sell more Honda bikes, they would be paid like nothing, because like what's the point? But the function is to be a face for, is it Red Bull now that they are face for Alpine Stars, face for a lot of different things also outside of the most basic appliance, And Formula One is even a step further than that. And that's what brings in the money.
You know what the beautiful thing about RC is that you can actually do it, right? You can advertise to people that do it. And then people say, well, we should be doing this and we should have parking lot racing and we should do that. Absolutely. We should be looking at all opportunities by any means necessary to show what we're doing, right? And get more people into racing. That's all I'm saying. I'm not under any illusion that we're going to be breaking viewer records and all that type of stuff, but at least people can know what we're doing. And somebody said you need better bait to catch a whale. That's true. We do need better bait. We do need a better product. I'm not thinking about catching one fish. I'm thinking of casting a net to catch many.
Wow.
That's my thing.
And on that note, see you next week.
See you next week.
That was a very poetic ending.
It was.
Do we have anything else to talk about? Because we've been going for 3.5 hours, and this.
I blame you. I blame absolutely you for all of that.
Yeah, it's Max.
Always
He's been probably talking like 2 hours of this podcast. Yeah.
We need to time this. Keenan, use your AI tools.
Have you ever listened to yourself? You're like circling around the same thing and talking like 5 minutes about the same thing.
Well, I dive deep.
That's probably what the Australian guy said about you, because he had a lot to say about me. But anyway, this is the Australian guy. I tried to be a lot better this time around and follow his suggestions.
Yeah, actually, yeah. You did well.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't cut out. You didn't put the advertisement. Max started the talk. Techno advertisement.
Well, that's the only way to get him to shut the fuck up sometimes. But seriously, we need to think bigger. And I'm under no illusion about what we're doing, but it could be better. It can be better. Anyway, you know what? We're going to do our part in a week's time at the E-Buggy World. Somebody's going to be the first E-Buggy World champion. Who's it going to be? NNRC content will be there. And Pekko is going to be there. We'll probably do some things with him. And you know what? Even if JQ is in a good mood, we might get him to do some stuff too with us.
If he has enough beer.
Wow, that's easy to do in Portugal. Because Superboc is pretty plentiful and it's pretty cheap. And I can't wait to have my fair share of it as well when I get there. All right, everybody. From Max Rasta Parrot right over there. Thank you for joining us. Once again, we greatly appreciate it. This was an old school long podcast. We do one like once a month now, it seems.
Every time I'm here.
Yeah,
every time you're here. Every time you're here.
But the thing is that it's 3 people who are talking, so it takes more time.
Well,
I would say like
math.
It's 2 people and Max.
Can't win with these guys.
Oh my God. You know what? Here we're going to do. Thank you to J Concept for all your support. Alrighty then, we're going to conclude this. We want to thank all of you. If you've made it this far, thank you very much for paying attention. We had a serious bench racing segment. You know what we haven't done in a long time is Q&A. So we probably got to do that at some point. We want to thank all of the NNRC squad around the world. We greatly appreciate you guys' support. We can't do any of this without you. Check out Will's vlog. It was very good. It's very good from the Euros. It was good. It's on the channel as well. Shout out to Will. We also did a Euros recap with Will as well last week. So check that out. Thank you to the patrons and YouTube members of the NNRC. We greatly appreciate you guys' support. And a big shout out to the sponsors, J Concepts, High Tech RC, Sidewinder Fuels, Latara Racing, Invisible Speed, MO Toys, Dollar Hobbies, Side Piece Racing, Get Shit Done Coffee, Elite RC Productions, RC Project, Mayako, Techno RC, Beach RC, Racecraft USA, and Clinic RC. Oh, Pekko, tell everybody how they can get a Mayako engine.
Oh, yeah. When you sign up as a member, you buy the membership, it will be $349 US dollars. So not too bad. You will get a 20% discount of all parts, and you will get access to this amazing deal. $699 for an MPC car and a Mayako YMP engine by Ultimate Race.
So just for clarification, the YMP engine is not available to the public, just to members.
No, just the members and the YMP racers.
Okay, sweet. Well, check it out. If Mayako is something you've been on the fence of, join the membership, get a deal, and get a deal on future cars as well, because that's what it's all about. Max, now you've gone quiet.
Yeah, I'm just finishing up this podcast, considering my life choices. And yeah, we're gonna this time next week we're gonna be probably editing some kind of recap of day one.
Maybe no, because it'll be Monday. It hadn't started yet. We be just getting there.
Oh yeah. I was already in Tuesday.
And you know what we need?
What
Some super chats.
That's right, because we got to pay Pekko.
Yeah,
exactly.
So give all super chats go to Pekko this week.
I need a
wait, Pekko, can Mayako sponsor us? I think the Mayako sponsorship could be paid in beers.
In beers?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't drink in Mayako tent, so no. We don't support that kind of behavior.
Dude looks like that and says that kind of language. Can't keep a straight face.
I'm putting on my bullshit boots because that's absolute bullshit right there. Absolute bullshit right there. There will be plenty of Superbock flowing in the fucking Mayako pits this week, next week. You can buy them right there. €1 for the little small Superbock.
Yeah, but you cannot go to the track side to drink it.
You can't go to the pits and drink it?
No, you cannot. No, you cannot.
What about the media room?
Probably not.
Well, we just have to drink a lot of them down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to smuggle them in the media room.
No, you cannot.
Jake, knows all about smuggling alcohol into places he shouldn't smuggle it into.
There will be security, guys.
There always is. Anyway, we look forward to being at the E-Buggy Worlds. Thank you, everybody, for all the continued support. Thank you, Dollar Hobbies, as well. Don't forget to use that coupon code and help us out, and you save 10%. With that said, we're going to end it with the Oktoberfest. You know, I did a voiceover for this, and I'm actually pretty proud of it. So, but I can't find a video, so I'll have to add it in post.
Just play the outro.
Yeah.
See you guys next week.
Mark your calendars. The AZ Oktoberfest 2025 is happening 31st of October to November 2nd at the iconic Nitro compound in Maricopa, Arizona. This track is next level with huge elevation, massive jumps, and fast technical layouts that keep the action intense all weekend long. Add some night racing under the lights and perfect fall desert weather with temperatures from 70s to the low 80s, and you have the ultimate RC weekend. Classes include novice, sportsman, intermediate, pro, 40 plus, short course truck, and you have the open class. This is for any skill level as a second buggy class. And of course, they have a 16 and under class with their dedicated 16 and under final. Race and hang out with RC stars like Ryan Mayfield, Spencer Rivkin, Spencer Heckert, Camden Lime, and the Iceman, Mason Fuller. They have a massive raffle from all the sponsors that participated, live coverage by Mod Live Media. This is one race you don't want to miss. Follow the Nitro Compound on Facebook and Instagram for more details, and get ready to send it at the AZ Oktoberfest.